be rolling.
We be rolling, we be hating.
We be, let's rock and roll. From yours.
Rock and roll.
Isn't that what she says?
I don't know.
I think that's what the mom says. Let's rock and roll. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. Hi, guys.
Welcome back to Splice Splatter, the film podcast presented by the Jean Cocteau Cinema in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where classic horror
It's modern gore.
And I forget what we say after that. Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, we can do it again.
I'm Siena.
I'm Al.
Yeah.
And we're here at summer camp.
We're here at summer camp. We're, as we were just saying, we're talking about Final Girls first from 2015.
Yeah.
I'm covering Friday the 13th, the OG from 1980, which I think I hadn't seen. Had you seen?
Okay, I had like debate over whether I've seen it. I think I saw, like I watched like the second or third one at some point on TV. I feel like at some point, but I don't, this was the first time I sat
and watched. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
It's a movie.
I'm just going to preface with, we've heard, if you've listened to past episodes consistently, a few times I've talked about that Jason is not my favorite. That franchise is not my favorite. Motherfucker's not even in that one.
Oh, yeah, Jason appears for literally 2 seconds, I think.
Yeah. So we have feelings. I think collectively we have feelings.
I almost feel
no
like
hate,
I did a disservice to this movie by not having seen Halloween first. Because I've been, like, saving my Halloween virginity for, like, the right time. Cause
we should do it at Halloween.
I think we should cover that for Halloween this year. For Halloween's episode. That with something. But, yeah, I mean, we watched Halloween Part 2.
Rob Zombie.
Which
is, like,
version,
a wild ride compared to the
But, like, I don't feel like I know anything about Halloween from that.
No. It's clean slate, basically. But, yeah, I'm glad we were, like, covering... like OGs, but
can I just say I'm so glad we have yours as like a palate cleanser, because man did I hate my movie.
Did we? I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I hated it. I'm sorry. I think it's garbage.
I kind of hated it too. I think this is the first time No, The Strangers.
Yeah, The Strangers.
The Strangers will trump every movie on here.
I think this is the first time that we've both virulently hated a movie.
Because you're looking different
such a
about Strangers.
Classic. Yeah, because like Strangers, I was like, it's fine. It's like it's doing what it came to do. Wow, this movie made me so angry.
I know, and I wonder if they get better. I don't know if they do.
I don't think they do.
Someone needs to convince us to like watch a specific. If there's any Friday the 13th fans out there, just stop listening.
I'm so sorry.
Listen to the first half and then stop.
Enjoy Final Girls with us and then turn it off before I ruin your day. I don't know. It's. I really loved yours, though. I had a great time with yours.
I mean, it is what it is. But I'm going to give you some context that I had no idea about. That even if you're like, it was fun, I'm going to give you this emotional pull that I don't think anyone was expecting.
See, I think because I went into it, because we both watched Friday the 13th first.
Yeah, I know, which never happens. I think that because of that, I was extra kind on Final Girls. Like, because... You're like, anything.
Yeah, anything. Give me something. Well, and I think, like, just to spoil a little bit of my reaction, I think part of it was that it felt like Final Girls was made with so much love.
Yeah.
And so much, like, heart.
Yeah.
And I think Friday the 13th is just, like, a soulless movie.
Yeah.
I have quotes to back that up. Like, everybody working on this film had nothing in mind but money.
Really?
Like, and that's
how it feels. I mean, we've learned with horror. Like, you just can't fake it for money.
You can't fake it.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, so like
when we rip it apart.
I brought in more reasons for us to hate it for my section. But for yours, I feel like because of that, I had like just a delightful time.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad.
It had the love that I was lacking in Friday the 13th.
Have you heard of it before?
No, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I watched it back in 2015 when it first came to streaming, which we'll talk about a little bit. But
did it have a theatrical release?
It did.
Okay.
But I think it played for like a week.
That makes sense. It feels like it's a cult movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I'm hoping people don't don't listen to this if you haven't watched it. I would say watch it first and then come back.
There's a lot of good twists that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, it kind of
it's inventive.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
The movie does not stop. And then the humor mixed with the emotion. Like I forgot how much I liked it. because I read some, like, I did bring some criticism to the end of why it overall kind of got, like, a good response. Again, it's, like, a sleeper hit, I think. I'm waiting for its time.
Yeah. I think it's going to have a resurgence at some point.
I hope so. Yeah, it's 10 years old now, so which is crazy.
It feels like it's about time for that cult following to start developing.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we jump in?
I think we should jump in. Do you have a tidbit? Oh, good.
So, do you have one?
I do. But
you go first. Mine is so stupid.
Oh, great.
Yours is gonna be good.
Mine is. It is about Friday the 13th, but I think it's not so essential to the conversation that we need to save it for my section. And it's kind of in the spirit of a couple other recent musically themed tidbits that I've given you to kick off with. Because Friday the 13th, we're going to talk more about the specifics of where it's shot. Obviously, I'm sure it's no surprise to anybody that it shot at a real Boy Scout camp. It's still going. This camp was located in New Jersey. We'll get more into the details of that. But you'd think that out in active Boy Scout camp territory, you're probably not going to be running into any other people around you, right? However, as they were shooting, it's a good story. It's a good story. One of the only things about this movie that I enjoyed. As they were shooting, the owner of the camp property kept talking about his neighbor Lou, and they were like, "Who's this Lou guy?" It's Lou Reed. It's Lou Reed, and not only is Lou Reed the next door neighbor of the production of this movie, he comes to set and visits and plays a concert for them. I have a quote from one of the sound techs, Richard Murphy, who said, quote, "We got to watch Lou Reed play for free right in front of us while we were making the film. He just came by the set, we hung around with each other, and he was just a really great guy."
Whoa. Well, yeah, he lives next to a camp. Yeah. I feel like there's a specific type of person that lives near around a camp.
Yeah.
Well, maybe two. One creepy.
Yeah,
the other
true.
person
is
just
Lou Reed.
wants to. Yeah, it's Lou Reed. It's only two. It's only two.
But yeah,
my God, what an angel!
Truly.
Is he a good guy? I forget. I love his music. I don't know if he's.
I think he's a somewhat complicated figure, but he's also somebody who's like had a lot of trauma in his life.
Yeah, he's just trying to live in the woods and like chill.
Yeah.
And play concerts for people making a horror movie. I couldn't imagine because like Kevin Bacon, which I did not realize was in this, is such a bait. I mean, he wasn't.
I should have looked up how old he was at this time. I don't actually have that, but
he almost doesn't look like Kevin Bacon. That's how young he is.
Yeah, he's so fresh faced, you almost can't recognize him.
That poofy hair really just
camouflages
him.
He's got quite a femme quality to him in this movie that I don't associate with Kevin Bacon usually. But yeah.
22.
Yeah. 22. Older than I would have guessed, honestly.
Yeah,
he
I would have thought
looks
maybe
like
19.
barely 15.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I didn't think he was 15, but he looks barely 15.
That's so funny. Lou motherfucking Reed.
Reed, yeah.
Wild.
I know we both love his music, so just
my
imagine
God.
getting a free concert from next door neighbor Lou.
Yeah, neighbor Lou.
Neighbor Lou.
Chill.
Yeah. The fact that he wasn't even like talking about like, oh yeah, my neighbor Lou Reed. He's just like, oh Lou, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, but he didn't even know. He's like, oh, he plays music sometimes.
Yeah. I hear guitar sometimes. Yeah.
He does
like
covers.
He's a really big fan of the Velvet Underground.
That's so funny. My fact is stupid. So,
love.
Fun fact: when I sorted my notes and I put this tidbit here, I didn't remember a lot of Final Girls, and so I put this fact, not realizing the entirety of Final Girls is a Friday the 13th homage. So I wrote this fact, like, oh my God, look at this tie to Friday the 13th. Ow. The whole fucking movie.
I love this.
So I feel like an idiot. So I literally put, again, it was talking about like the music. So the Michael Row Your Boat Ashore is the same. And then the fact that they wear the yellow shirts. And I'm like, what a dingus. I should have kept it there because I was like, I feel stupid. There's a million things.
They quote the...
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's the through line throughout the entire thing. The fucking little thing, the mask.
Yep.
Everything. This movie is a better version.
It is. It's Friday the 13th, but better. I'm sorry.
So yeah, that was my tidbit that I was like, I was like, oh my God, these are like.
Did you know?
Like fucking Christ out. So
in fact, one might say it's why we paired these two.
I know we didn't know. Every time we never know, but it works out.
Yeah. That's so funny.
That's my kickoff. Taglines, we have one. It's so boring. I don't even think it shouldn't even need the final girl. like girls. Is it final?
I think this is a title as tagline type of film.
Yeah.
Or it should have been.
Tagline is "Who will survive?" They really were like, "Oh fuck,
That's
we need
what
one
you've
of
got?
we need one of those. Who will survive? You know, let's put that."
Ugh.
It should have been, yeah. So, anyways,
It's also clearly a ripoff of, I think it's Texas Chainsaw, whose tagline was "Who will survive and what will be left of them?"
yeah, but
Which
that's
good. And that was in '74.
They were like, "Here, we'll just take that, but like,
but worse.
take off half."
Yeah, take off the
so
interesting
we don't get
part. Yeah.
yeah, take off the only good part. So, anyways, moving right along.
Ugh.
We are jumping in. We have director. Everyone has a difficult name for me, so
fantastic.
We're hanging on. I have to say his name once, and then he's director Todd for the rest of the episode. So we have director Todd Strauss-Schlossen.
Oh.
Yes. We love director Todd. We love everyone actually that worked on this film. So he also directed Isn't It Romantic from 2019, starring Rebel Wilson.
Love Rebel Wilson.
And 2011's A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas. So I think that's where a lot of his humor comes from. A lot of the interviews where he talks about Final Girls, he also talks about that. Obviously, because you know, it came back up when he was going around for his press tour. And then recently he's done some music videos and like promos and TV series episodes. Cool. So he's kind of out there.
He's in the episodic world right now.
Yeah.
Like. Gay?
I don't know. I did Google. But
like
we'll
this
talk
movie
about
just feels like it has a queer sensibility.
We'll get to it, but hint, the writers are.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where
Great,
I know.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So you felt it and you were
good.
Correct.
Which I think is also a big part of why I enjoyed it so much more than Friday the 13th. Like I couldn't find any queer I couldn't find a queer route in to Friday the 13th. It should be really gay.
Yeah.
I think it also, I'm sorry to like
too straight
jump ahead, but it also, I was thinking so much about Sleepaway Camp watching these two, since like that was our slumber camp one last year. Yeah. And it just like that is obviously a very problematic movie, but there is so much like rich queerness to like pull apart in it that like I was hungering for that. And yours felt like it gave me much more.
Oh yeah.
Especially because even the straight quote unquote couples are like so gay.
Oh, so gay.
So gay.
Yeah. With what's his name with his little button?
Oh my god.
He's
incredible.
So cute.
Yeah.
That man was just drawn from a little cartoon.
Truly.
We needed more of him, to be fair. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so ding, ding, ding.
Great. Thank God.
As always, it's either my directors or my writers are gay.
We need at least one.
Yeah. I couldn't like confirm this, but rumor was another director was really interested in it. I don't know what kind of happened or if it's 100% true, but Paul Feig or Feig, I always forget how to say his name.
Interesting.
Which, if you guys don't recognize his name or you do, Freaks and Geeks, Heavyweights, we love him.
I could see him doing a really good job with this script.
And Paul, in a lot of interviews, talks about how he loves directing films about like the female perspective too, and I do think he has such a softness to him that like and like a gritty realness to him in like this wholesome way that he would have done great. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed, but I did read it.
It makes so much sense, though, especially given, you know, he's so good at 80s period authenticity from Freaks and Geeks.
Is just perfect.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I go back and rewatch it like at least once a year.
Oh yeah, I'm due for my year
Me too.
watch.
Yeah.
Sorry, at the same time. Anyways.
There's the Patreon bonus content. Us rewatching Freaks and Geeks.
Oh my god.
Would you watch?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So writers, he goes by M.A. Fortin, but his name's Mark, so I'm going to call him Mark. I might switch back and forth depending on where I wrote it, because M.A. feels
weird
in the context of this. So he's a co-writer on this. He's most known for writing and creating the series Queen of the South, which I don't know.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, it seems big. So he co-created that, and then did the 2024 The Exorcism starring Russell Crowe, which I've not heard of, but
I think we actually got an email about it the other day.
Oh, because it's new.
Yeah, I think
funny.
It's that one. I think it's that one.
That makes sense.
Anyway.
And then we have the other writer, Joshua John Miller. He has a very long IMDb page.
Okay, because his name sounded extremely familiar.
Pin that.
Thank God.
If you hear it, hold it.
Great.
If it comes to your, because we're going to get into why that name sounds familiar. So he was in 1986's River's Edge. He's mostly has like a long IMDb for acting.
Interesting.
And he was also in Teen Witch and Halloween 3. So he's a little bit of a horror king on screen. He also helped create Queens of the South.
Cool.
And then helped write The Exorcism as well. So they worked together. We have cinematographer Eli Smolkin. He did 36 episodes of The Magicians, and 2024 is Tarot, and then a bunch of other kind of like horror projects. So again, like everyone kind of comes from this horror world. The cinematographer talks about when he was in college. I think I don't know when you went to film school, did you do digital or did you do film?
Because my film school was all like theory, I didn't take any practical classes.
Oh, whoa.
So, my practical classes were in writing.
Okay. I feel like film school is weirdly in the two categories of like you're all on set and that's all you do, or
it's one of the two.
God,
usually.
people need to blend that shit.
Yeah.
So
it's so true. You need both.
Absolutely. So he talks about his time in college. He would shoot 35 mil, 60 mil. All the kind of processes of doing film. But then he said like on that end, it really helped him set up like understanding the filmmaking process. But then obviously like as time went on, he was like, okay, let me keep up to date with everything digital. He said that really helped him in the sense of this film with the kind of all the tricks that they do, especially in that montage where they're kind of booby trapping the cabin.
Yeah.
And so he kind of was able to take those things and apply it to this film. And then he said that they did a lot of motion control sequences where they took a machine that is traditionally used for VFX purposes, and that's what they used to kind of get those like hyper fast camera movements that you see. And then he said, quote, "We needed a robot. It was an old school Rube Goldberg meets Busby Berkeley sequence, but we took modern technology and used it to achieve a new version of an old trick."
That's so satisfying.
And I love that because that whole where they flip under and they go, it's just like, how the fuck? So there are articles that you can read that really go into depth, but it's like,
cool.
I would just be regurgitating, so I didn't fuck anything up. So, yeah. He talks about working with director Todd as well, and kind of talking about how Todd didn't understand limitations or physics, which he said he kind of liked because he was like, he'll have this insane thought and he won't accept no. So there's no money for it. And so it's what makes him such a good director, is that what makes him insanely fun to work with is that he's just like, no, we're doing that. Yeah. Like, how do we make this happen? So that's why I think this film kind of has such a unique, I think we've had tonally, like Cabin in the Woods is tonally this same like meta fun.
It's the most similar to what this is doing, I think.
But this is a little bit more bonkers.
I think it's better. I liked it more. Yeah.
It doesn't allow you like a moment to not have fun. Yeah. And I think that's what's nice. It doesn't give you like a resting moment and this like horror suspense, because it's already like, no, we're in the horror film. We're horror film fans. We know what's going to happen. Yeah. So we don't need to have any exposition about this.
Cut all the fat.
Yeah. We have production designer Katie Byron. She also designed Don't Worry, Darling, which if you haven't seen, my wife's in it, Florence Pugh.
And
there was so
production
much
design.
Oh my God, it was so good. I like wanted to hate that film, and it was
really
I was
good. Prepared to dislike it a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's been unfairly trashed.
It's all the drama around. Yeah.
Like, it's not a great movie, but it's not nearly as bad as people talked about it being. Yeah.
If it wasn't hyped in the way it was, we would have been like, oh, it's great.
Yeah, exactly.
So she did that. She also did 10 episodes of The Curse, which was shot here in New Mexico. So I don't have a ton about her. We're going to jump into our huge ensemble cast. I kind of just pick and chose depending on like what people's IMDb and connections. So
I had to do the same on mine because it's just there's too many people.
So many fucking people. I didn't even realize till I started to write them out. So we have Thaisa Farmiga as Max. You might recognize her the most from American Horror Stories.
Which is so good. She's so good. And that was like you know, that was the prime time of American
when she
Horror
was in
Story.
it, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
When she wasn't, it was like...
that's when it started going down. Yeah. Coven and...
Coven is the best.
Coven and... Oh, God, what's the haunted house?
Murder
one?
House.
Yeah, Murder House. Those are by far the two best.
Absolutely. Yeah. You might also recognize her name because her sister, Vera Farmiga, who... Did we cover... Is she in Annabelle when we covered that?
Yes.
I forget.
Yes. I believe.
Yeah, I forget. She's in the Conjuring franchise.
Yeah.
So
She's
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same verse.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize they also said the movie Nun. They're in Nun 2 together.
Oh, that's so cute.
Which is really cool. I was like, do they play like older, younger?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. They play different characters.
Because they do look very similar.
Oh my god.
Which
so similar.
I would like to see them play older, younger versions of the same character sometime.
We have Malin Ackerman. Again, I had to write everyone's name as Nancy. I love her. She's in Watchmen. That's like what I know her from the most.
Amazing.
Yeah. She's in fucking everything. So, I rewrote. In like a weird little tidbit, Malin and Aaliyah, who plays Gertie, had actually both broken their left hands prior to production. And so Malin's injury you don't really see, but Aaliyah's, you can see sometimes she has a hard time moving her like fingers if you really, really pay attention. But I just thought it was kind of funny that like you have these two actors come set. It's like, okay, broken, we have to work around.
The same hand for both of them too.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So, little fun tidbit. I don't know. That sucks. Breaking a hand is not fun. She talks about playing the role of Nancy in a Nylon Mag interview that I found, and kind of about the character arc and kind of playing, the kind of trope of the sex symbol in a horror movie. So she says, quote, she loved having the opportunity to play a one-dimensional character and then have her grow from there and come into consciousness and realize her mortality, which is towards the end. I love that it was commenting on the really bad 80s horror films with the really bad lines, I feel like yours, and women being sex symbols with no brains. But then it shifts into this day and age where women are strong and powerful and beautiful and are working at it. So I love that I was part of this film and that I got and that the final girl is smart, savvy young woman. So I think her character, just those kind of last few lines that she has, a lot of people comment on like the dancing scene at the end too. Like, it's funny, everyone who had a problem with the film as a whole loved that scene.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's so well done.
So good. It makes me like weepy watching it.
Her performance is great. It's visually really engaging. It's
the visuals in this
combining a whole lot of different tones really successly.
Yeah.
I just thought it really
hit.
It really hit. Yeah.
So good experience from her, which I love this film. We have Adam Devine as Kurt.
Amazing.
Playing Adam Devine.
Yep.
I think he was in a time, like, he's always plays him, which I can't fault him for. I mean, Workaholics, Righteous Gemstones.
100%.
I think Righteous Gemstones, he definitely plays someone a little bit different.
Yeah.
But boy, he was in this
close to home for him, especially seeing at the end once it goes into
bloopers.
And I love that it did that, but also just like his bloopers are just
it's him. Yeah,
it's just him. Yeah.
There was a lot of improv on this set. So that also, but yeah, he was in that time where they just probably let him go.
Him just yelling like, I won't tell anybody if you have sex with me right now.
Yes, that's just him. Which,
like, we gotta go to the hotel.
Fucking Adam Devine. I love him. He can't do any wrong.
Yeah.
So cute little fact about him. Him and the actress Chloe Bridgers, who plays Paula, initially met after being seated next to each other on a plane. So they were on the way to set. They were on the plane together. And she was, like, chatting him up, talking about stuff. And he was like, okay, like, why is this person, like, chatting me up, not realizing that they were both in this film together. And in 2021, they actually got married. And they have kids. And they're still together.
That's so cute.
So it's a little love story between them. So he got his... what was supposed to be the final girl.
Yeah.
Which I love. So, yeah, cute little story with them. We're moving on to Thomas.
So he did take her to a hotel right after.
Yeah. Probably during. He got the sex he was talking about. We have Thomas Middleditch as Duncan, arguably the best character in it. He is
good.
the film nerd that knows everything.
Yep. relate so strongly.
Yeah, he would be us.
Yeah, no, watching it, I was like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His death is amazing too.
Yeah.
Waiting for the looming.
So
Because I'm like, I know it's gonna happen, but when's it gonna happen? It surprised me this time. So,
and I loved his blooper, like coming out and being like, I feel like I'm walking like Kramer.
oh yeah,
So funny.
Love a Seinfeld reference.
Okay, so what the hell do I know him from?
Silicon Valley.
Oh,
Did you watch that show? I never watched
only little
it,
bits and pieces,
yeah.
but that is what I'm recognizing.
Yeah.
From. Yeah,
He that and then a lot of voice acting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a ton of shit.
It's
that I'm not
definitely his
gonna go
face
into.
that I was recognizing. Though, so it's
I
gotta be from
know. I
Silicon
thought he was
Valley.
in more things that I recognized.
Yeah, wow.
He needed to be in the whole movie.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
He's
fantastic.
just perfect.
Yeah.
Pitch perfect.
I don't have a lot on him, but he was my favorite character.
Hands down.
We have
I
Nina.
wanted him to be the final girl.
I know, right? Another world. Well, I don't have it in here, but it was rumored, because where we leave off at the end of the film, it's rumored that they were gonna do a second one at some point. I was
wondering. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of time has passed that
Yeah.
it would have happened already. So
One would hope.
because I would love him to be the
final girl of the second.
or
yeah.
almost the final girl, where we think he's gonna be and he's
the
not.
penultimate girl.
Yeah. We have Nina Dobrev as Vicky. She's from Degrassi. That's what I know her from. I didn't realize too she's like a kind of like uncredited role in Repo the Genetic Opera, which I want to cover on here at some point.
Yeah, we absolutely should.
So I'm curious to where she pops. She had to have been a baby in that. We have Aaliyah Shawkat as Gertie.
My love.
Maybe in Arrested Development. I think she needs to be in a million more
everything.
things. Yeah.
I so love her guest star in Broad City, where she and Alana start fucking.
Yes. Yes.
So good.
I didn't put that on here, but oh my god,
I think about that like once a week. Like
Broad City, man.
So good.
Oh my god. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I was like, she's in Severance recently. Yeah. That bitch needs to be.
She's incredible.
She's so good. She's so
Everything
natural.
she touches is gold.
Truly.
Yeah.
So director Todd said he had always envisioned her to play the role of Gertie, which I love.
That.
He said it wasn't as easy to get her as he thought because her managers kept giving him the runaround. So he ended up tracking down her email and sending her a personal email being like, hey, I want you for this. And like, clearly she was like, hell yeah, I'm down. So fuck you managers because she's perfect in this with her
fantastic.
little again the queer coded relationship. I'm like, those are the two
gayest characters I've ever seen.
Good.
Yeah, and I also 100% believe them being attracted to each other.
Oh
like,
it makes sense.
That happens.
The button love.
Yes.
We have Angela Trimber as Tina, our favorite resident crazy.
Amazing.
She was in Halloween 2 as the crazy friend Harley. She is the same crazy friend in this. I think she's just cast based on who she is as a person.
Is she the one who is the bait?
Yes.
Okay.
With her little mittens, when they cut to her and she's on the floor and then she goes, oh my god, what's the line? What's the line that we've been quoting?
Why does he have my boobs? Because they're not big.
It's because they're not big. When she talks about her boobs, her being that little life vest with her little mittens.
I can't get over her ripping off the duct
Cherry
tape
pie.
with her teeth to cherry pie.
Her crawling on the floor in that scene.
It was the physical commitment to the bit. She must have been covered in bruises after that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I don't have it here, but we'll get to it. But that was that was just her. That was the actress doing that.
Of course.
So
of course,
I love her and everything she shows up in because if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Because she is wild in this. Her crazy eyes are my favorite. So love her. We have Alexander Ludwig as Chris. He was in The Hunger Games. He was also in When the Game Stands Tall in 2014. His mother, Charlene Martin, had appeared in the 1989 Friday the 13th. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Not
understand.
even the worst in the series.
Named after your mom, though. Tamara.
Oh, look at that.
I'm going to say named after your mom specifically.
That's
the only good
no
thing
other
about that.
Tamaras.
Yeah. I realize I might need to watch this one and see how I feel.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah. Do you know
I'm
anything
curious
about it?
that. I'm also curious about Jason X, which is the infamous Jason in Space one.
Yes.
Yeah.
We might have to space in.
I do kind of want to watch that. I kind of want to watch that.
It's gotta be better than the first.
Yeah, anything would be better than this.
Yeah. Anyways, moving right along. From Jason Takes Manhattan, we have Chloe Bridges, who I said earlier, Paula. She's Sydney in Pretty Little Liars, and she's Tina in Disney's Camp Rock 2.
Pretty Little Liars is what I was recognizing her from, because I watched that a little bit in high school.
I watched Camp Rock too.
Oh, look at that.
I love Camp Rock.
She's got a little something for everybody.
A little bit for everyone. Both sides of the spectrum. She oh yeah, there was another actress interested in this role, which I'm kind of gooped and gagged about because I think she would have been perfect, but I like the tone of this film
would be very different.
Chloe Sevigny. Can you imagine that she was supposed to? I think she would have eaten that role up.
She would have been
but to a point where I would have been really upset when she wasn't in the rest of the film.
Yeah, it would have been a real letdown when that character died.
Yeah. Like she needed to be in the ensemble cast for a very long time. Thought that was so she had to drop out due to scheduling. So we almost got her.
No,
it would have happened.
Oh, that's so
Another world. We have Daniel Norris as Billy Murphy. He plays our serial killer. So he is a widely accomplished stuntman. He's worked in a shit ton of Marvel films, Black Panther, Captain America: Civil War, Hawkeye TV series, and so many other projects. I think some of the Creed movies he was in as well. So he is a baddie. The character of Billy Murphy went through a few changes. So originally in the first version of the script, he was named Hatchet Face, which is so sad. That makes me hurt for him.
It's also the name though of a character in Crybaby.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I hear Hatchet Face. I love her.
Me too.
She's the best.
Yeah, she's an icon. I love Hatchet Face.
So, but speaking of faces and known faces, the original mask that they have, which I think there's one part where you can see it. Oh, it's in the window scene when he's behind Gertie. So when they first kind of see him, she's like, he's here. That's one of the original masks. The original mask apparently had really prominent eyebrows, and so the cast and crew called it the Eugene Levy mask. So it's the only part that you can see it. And
oh my god!
I wish we kept it, and I hope he knows that.
Yeah,
that's really cute. So we love him.
Ew, David.
Ew, David. Speaking of names, we have some horror character name crossover. I'm pretty sure it's like everyone will recognize these. So Nancy and Tina, the lead girls in the camp bloodbath aspect of this film, were named after Nancy Thompson and Christina Tina Gray from A Nightmare on Elm Street. And not only that, the writers modeled Tina after PJ Soul's character, Linda, from Halloween.
Interesting.
And they said Morgan from the House on Sorority Row. I have not seen that, so I'm not sure what that character's like. Obviously like Tina. And then Nancy was modeled after Amy Steele's character, Ginny, from Friday the 13th Part 2. So
interesting.
A lot of obviously the crossover with Friday the 13th.
It's very direct.
Yeah,
very,
straight
very
line.
direct. Yeah.
So script and story conception. This is the part that got me, and I had no idea. So, this is long. It's juicy.
Love.
I'm hoping I can do it justice as I whittle this down. So, the film was actually conceived by, and this is why you are going to probably recognize one of the writers' name, Joshua John Miller is the writer, as a way of dealing with the death of his dad, Jason Miller, who starred as Father Karras in the 1973 film The Exorcist.
No way.
Yes. Isn't it?
Oh.
I know. So, obviously, Friday the 13th franchise, and that was kind of like the conception of this as well. It was also like originally supposed to be an homage to slasher like horror films, but Josh actually talks about Final Girls like really being the story that was able for him to like tell the story of his dad's death. Obviously, we have the whole implications of what's her name? Max watching her mom die on screen over and over. Obviously, Josh had that same experience watching about his dad. So he knew he wanted to tell the story about his father's death, but couldn't really tell it in a factual way. And so Mark, the other screenwriter, said, as they say, sometimes fiction is closer to the truth. So that was kind of like the seed and conception. So the real moment that sparked the script was when Josh started to reflect on seeing his dad in The Exorcist. And so I have a quote from him saying, "I grew up watching my dad in The Exorcist, and there's something haunting, strange, confusing, and a little bit unnatural to see your parent constantly die in a film. But it's something that also becomes iconic. And we tried to deconstruct what the effects of that would be, as well what it would be like if you had a second chance, but your second chance was inside a movie." So that's exactly what we see play on screen. I know.
It really, again, there's the heart that Friday the 13th was missing.
It makes
it really, I think, it's Thaisa Farmiga, right, who was in this one. Her performance is so real and so tender towards her mother that it really, it makes both the horror and the comedy land so much harder when you feel like there's a real human experience behind it.
Yeah, I was, again, because I did notes first and then watching it, and I didn't expect to get as emotional watching such a funny movie.
I found it really touching.
Yeah, it really brings you, like, I don't want to be like brings you down in a bad way, but it kind of pulls you in this place to then push you back up into the, I don't know, it's so beautifully woven in there. But yeah, her performance is gut-wrenching, especially at the end when there's that blue cast kind of scene where they're having
that conversation.
So how did director Todd and Mark Fortin come into the picture with them? So director Todd and writer Mark actually became friends while attending Emerson together, and so they both moved to LA, and then Mark started dating Josh. They're married, or they're partners. I don't know if they're married. I don't know if they're still, but so they were partners at the time. So Mark really helped Josh kind of build this script with him.
So cute.
This is our first like partner writer duo.
Oh, I love that.
And so obviously director Todd was third wheel in it the whole time. So they were all buddies, which I love that they kind of came up together. And that's why they've worked on so many of the same projects together. Most of their credits are just things they've worked on as a threesome. So as a throuple. So the original concept for this came out, or they wrote it back in 2007. So that's kind of where the seed started. And then director Todd read this script. He said he was so moved by the parent-child aspect, obviously as us all, that he was like, I have to direct this for you. So clearly they went through no other choices. It was just them. So it took them a few more years of rewrites, which director Todd said he even spent days hopped up on Adderall while writing revisions, which is how we get our little crazy pants fucking downing the Adderall pills, which I think is perfect.
That felt very 2015. That edition.
Adderall. Also just like the concept of taking a bunch of Adderall.
Well, and how like casual it is.
I like that he was like, I did this. You should put that in there.
Like the moment where they're like joking about her having taken 30, I'm like, you could die.
30 of anything.
You're gonna die. But like
15.
Adderall?
3, 10. 30.
Yeah, Jesus.
Good bitch. Listen, she was going to die anyway.
Yeah, so. You're not wrong.
The script was originally optioned by New Line Cinema in 2011, but the studio wanted to eliminate all of those deep moments. And they were like, absolutely fucking not.
What's the point?
I don't know. Slutty slasher. That's what they wanted. So thankfully, they knew that was that was the whole reason this script even existed. So to take that out is fucking stupid. So they were like, absolutely fucking not. They shopped around a little bit. Director Todd recalls in an interview that one production company even said, you got to make it PG-13 and maybe there's aliens and maybe they'd bleed blue and that's how we can give you the money.
Oh my
And then Todd's like,
God.
I don't want your fucking money.
That's not,
thank you very much.
No, thank you. That's not the goal.
So thank fuck.
That's also like a different kind of horror movie.
Yeah. They were like, no, let's take out the emotional component and like
and also make it like not even a slasher so that
Is it even Final Girls at that point?
No, it's not.
So thank fuck they moved on. So that was 2011.
Okay.
Eventually wound up being produced by Sony in February of 2014. So under Stage 6 film banner, and then Michael London, who did Milk, Sideways, 13, a bunch of very emotional films, was the one to produce it with his company Groundswell Productions. So someone who it made sense why he had the attraction to this. So I think they partnered up with
That's
perfect.
Like the right pair. Yeah.
Sony really liked the emotional core of the script, but they still did want to tone it down to a PG-13.
Is this a PG-13?
It's a PG-13. We don't see
I guess
anything.
there's really very little blood. That's true. Yeah.
There's no tits. They're cut out.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of cutout tits, actually, there was, so I think we'll get to it. Yeah. I'm going to jump to it. So they wanted to be PG-13. Director Todd really, apparently this was supposed to be a super gory movie.
I can imagine.
Bad Taste and Dead Alive are two references. And speaking of tits being cut off, there was a moment where Tina got her boobs chopped off, and apparently they were just flying everywhere. It's supposed to be flying everywhere.
I want to see that version.
No, so I have a few other changes that were taken out of the script, so that was one of them. In an early draft of the script, Max was suicidal, which I think we kind of get that feeling in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then when she got a call from Gertie, I guess she was in the middle of the act. Gertie calls her, and then it kind of stops that thought pattern for her. There was another change where they were all self-aware that they were stuck in a montage while it was happening, which I really feel like they should have done.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm like, that would have made sense because we have the flashbacks where they're aware. And then we also had in the original script, the kids all began undergoing physical and psychological transformations as they entered the film. So the girls' waistlines shrunk, their boobs got really big, and then Gertie was so enamored with who was it? Oh, her own beauty that she tried to sabotage her friends to ensure they could never leave. She just wanted to be in that form forever.
That's so funny.
So I think they could have done it, but then again, the emotional, I don't know how those would have landed as much.
The only one of those that I miss is the boobs flying off.
I know.
That's the only one that I'm
that would have made sense.
Yeah, that would have fit
done that.
with the tone.
They were that's not PG-13 apparently.
That and the montage, to be fair. The montage would have been, that would have been great.
I get it. There's a lot of the criticism this film gets is too many elements going on. So I feel, I know, which I don't think
I feel like they're all pretty well tied together. But, and we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Moving on to production, I'll have you take a stab at the budget, and then we'll get to what it made later.
I unfortunately think I saw this when I looked up when I was looking for the film. Was it? I think I saw around 4.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like that feels right.
Yeah, and I think they used it well too.
No, they used every drop, I think.
Yeah,
especially with camera.
Yeah, it's
camera tricks.
It really feels like a bigger world than it, I'm sure, actually was.
The church scene with the sky.
That
it
was
looks
great.
Fake, but in a way that I feel like it's supposed to, but it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it feels very intentionally fake, which I'm willing to go along with that.
Yeah. They're in a movie within a movie.
Exactly.
So production was over the course of 26 days from April to May of 2014. They primarily... Why am I having the hardest time fucking talking today? Thanks for hanging in, guys. They primarily filmed in Baton Rouge and St. Francisville, Louisiana.
Interesting.
With some things obviously being filmed in LA, but primarily in Louisiana. Some of the places you might note if you've been to those areas, Frost Stop Root Beer Stand, so that kind of diner, Varsity Theater in Baton Rouge, and then most prominently where most of it takes place is a 400-acre property called Camp Marydale, located just north of Baton Rouge. A very fun fact about this is that the camp didn't have a cabin large enough for them to accommodate the camera crane to kind of do that whole booby trap scene and go in and out. And because they didn't have the budget to tear down a set afterwards, the structure that they built was a sound structure and still exists at the camp today.
Wow.
So that's the iconic black and orange building.
Cool.
And it's so funny because when I looked, before I knew that fact, I looked up the camp.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's weird. It really is the structure there. Yeah. Not knowing that the production had built it, and then they just use it now. So if you go, you get to see a little piece, of that.
Reminds me a bit of the house in Nope being completely structurally sound.
I know. I'm like, does that... I wonder if that still stands.
Yeah.
Oh, they moved it. Didn't they move it somewhere? I forget what I
feel like that. I think I do remember you saying that.
But I love that. Because it almost reminds me, and I know you hate it, but the little triangle house hut in Midsommar.
It's got a very similar vibe to that for sure.
So cool. So still standing to this day. It's on their website as just here's what our camp looks like. Many of the scenes were shot in order, which I feel like that happens more often than not with me. However, the real world scenes that they did, which opened the film, were shot at the very end of production so that the cast had time to like bond and kind of get to know each other. And then, and then the scenes in the montage sequence were not scripted. They kind of just like picked up and shot those whenever they had time or an idea for something. So they kind of just fit it in.
That's fun.
Super fun
way to work. Yeah.
So just some random production facts. The runtime of Camp Bloodbath is 92 minutes. Same length as the actual film. Which is so fun.
I thought that was really cute.
It's perfect.
I do think they padded that out with the extra bloopers. I think that was a big part of it.
Oh my God, is that why they did that?
I think that's why they had so many bloopers. Because I got to the end of the film and I was like, how are the credits 8 minutes long? It's because of the bloopers, but it wouldn't have been an hour 32 otherwise.
It's hard to hold that line.
Yeah, you can't. It's
telling yourself you have to make a 92. I guess you could do that first and then the.
I guess, but they'd already had the dialogue about it being 92 minutes.
Ugh. To hold yourself to that is like.
That's.
Insane.
I think they had to. I think that's why the bloopers happened. Yeah,
that's so funny.
But like,
that makes sense.
Great choice. It worked.
Yeah,
you got your 92 minutes.
Yeah. All the I thought this was interesting. You can kind of tell, but all the shots of the sky were completely digital. So much like
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
although I like that they weren't trying to hide that here. Like it felt like they were very willing to embrace things looking fake because that's so much of these movies.
Yeah.
Is like things do look fake and we kind of love that.
Yeah. It wasn't it worked. So while the car accident obviously in the beginning of the film was computer generated and the fire in the theater was mainly computer generated, the car crash at the camp was done practically, which I feel like you can really tell. Amazing that they did that.
So basically once you go into the past, everything's done practically, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
That makes sense. All the scenes in the movie theater were shot in a single day. The long sequence where the kids first encounter Billy Murphy in the forest was shot over the course of a day as well.
Wow.
Included 55 setups. So it's a packed day where they just kept going. Again, 26 days of filming in general. Apparently the tension was super high on that day.
Imagine.
Yeah. And so they continued to work after sunset and then lit the shots to make it appear as though it was still daytime. So they kind of just had to make it work. And speaking of the lighting, the blue scene where they kind of have the emotional talk. So that just happened to look like that when they walked. So when they walked on set in that cabin, or like I shouldn't say set, it was just the cabin that they were filming in. There was that blue tarp hanging, and it gave that kind of ethereal glow, and so they just kept it. So then you see them lift it, but that was just there.
Wow!
And I love that they utilized a lot of stuff like that on the set.
That's really cool. It's also kind of a fun tie-in to Friday the 13th because one of the reasons so much of Friday the 13th is so dark is that they just couldn't afford lights. They were begging for more lights given that it's, largely takes place outside at night and just didn't have the budget for it. So,
damn.
Yeah.
Why did they make that movie?
It's I guess yeah, we're
yeah. I know. I don't know if I have words. Speaking of like the set and like the sky looking fake, so director Todd recalls so where they're kind of initially sucked in to Camp Bloodbath and they end up in the forest. It was scripted that they entered this Technicolor world, which makes so much sense. So the day they got to set, both the writers like looked around, and so we see a lot of the fake flowers. I think there were even more fake flowers, and when they got to set, they were like, "Oh no,
too much.
That's not what we meant by that."
Yeah,
and so they had to like. I'm assuming they removed a lot, or they just kept it because man, those flowers.
There's
stand
a lot
out
of fake flowers. Yeah, and you can
so
definitely tell they're fake.
Oh yeah, just Michael's stuck in the ground.
It in a sense sells for me in that it really feels like you're inside a movie.
Yeah.
But that's the kindest read I can give it.
No, the writers were horrified. So it kind of like that's knowing so that fact, it made me really pay attention to those flowers. I'm like, I wouldn't have liked that either. To avoid. Yeah, we can do things with color later, not with fake flowers. Some little real life moments in the film. Like I said earlier, the cast was often encouraged to go off script. And so many of the characters, like Duncan and Kurt's characters, improvised scenes remained in the film. So you can see, even with the
cool.
bloopers, you can kind of tell that those things made it in. One of the most iconic ones, I think, is that during rehearsal, Thomas Middleditch, who plays Duncan, tripped over that velvet rope at the theater. Director Todd thought that was so funny that he was like, no, we have to do that as a gag. Keep that in.
So good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So that stays in. Another instance is when Tina is kind of having her little spiral after the Adderall. She like sees that fly. The fly just happened to be in the scene, and she just chases it around with her head. So I love that she just interacted with.
And it's such perfect timing because it's right after she's like, no, I'm so focused.
I know. I would have like died.
Yeah. How did everybody not break?
That's
amazing.
So that moment made it in, and obviously, like I said, too, Angela Timber is just like a crazy person. So she improvised that whole cherry pie dance, which I feel like makes sense.
That's incredible.
And I think
it's surprisingly complicated choreography for improv.
So I don't know if I mentioned it on Halloween too when we talked about it, but if anyone is chronically online for as long as I've been online, she was known for her Hello Giggles series on YouTube called Dance Like Nobody's Watching from 12 years ago. Oh my god. And so you can still watch. They have like 7+ million views on each of these videos, but she would be in public at like an airport, have headphones in, and just be like doing choreography. And she kind of eats. I'm not gonna lie. She does better dancing than this film, but that bitch has been like doing that. That's been her thing since before she was known. She didn't have a name at that point. She was Dance Like Nobody's Watching girl. So she improvised that. Oh my god, I have like a fun little scene breakdown. So the scene where it's the scene where the killer leaps through the second story window. Oh yeah. In slow-mo.
Yeah. It's slow-mo. It's so good.
Being in slow-mo,
I can't.
It would kill me.
Yeah. I would have agitated. A panic attack. Yeah.
I get agitated at slow walkers. I get agitated at slow drivers.
Yeah. No, I'm like a shark. I've got to keep going or I die. Like,
same. Oh God, this is a lot about us. Yeah. So, DP Eli recalls that they had to set up the propane popper where the gasoline can like falls and the explosion happens. And for some reason, the propane popper was much bigger than they had the special effects team had anticipated. Which I'm like,
that's frightening.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's look at things before, especially when it has to do with fire.
Yeah. I think you don't want to be finding that out on the day.
Yeah, on the day, like in the moment.
Yeah.
So it ends up catching part of the cabin on fire in real life.
Oh shit.
And so they had to use it only caught the curtains on fire, so nothing like super horrible happened. But they had to use a bunch of fire extinguishers, which were intended for the chase scene. And supposed to be used on the stuntman to put out the fire on him. So because of that, they could only do so many takes of the burn. Yeah, because they had to put them out. So I have a quote from him about how they ended up getting what they needed for that. So he says, quote, "We had enough left for the stuntman to jump out of the window, do that close-up shot, and then we had 2 takes worth of fire extinguishers left for him running through the woods. Initially, we wanted to shoot the chase scene in 3 different directions, and in a classic director Todd fashion, he still wanted to get all of his shots. So he said, we'll just shoot all 3 directions at once. So he continues, the only way we could light to shoot 3 directions at once was to wait for dawn because we needed that ambient light. So we rehearsed the moves and the timing, and then we waited for the sun to just start coming up, which stresses me out. Yeah. And then we shot all the coverage for the chase sequence in 1 take right before the sun came up, and it worked out. It's my favorite sequence, and after that, everyone was ecstatic. That was their last night shooting at the camp. That was the last thing they did.
That's powerful. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. So everyone was probably like, holy shit, we pulled it off. It like gives me chills. Like, holy shit, we pulled it off.
That's some luck. Some real luck.
Yeah. So again, director Todd was just like, we're going to do this. Yeah. He had to have been... He's one of those, like, it seems like one of those leaders that you're like, I don't know why I'm following you.
Yeah, I don't know why I trust you, but it's happening. Yeah.
So that's how... And that scene... of him jumping out in slow. There's so many scenes that look like paintings.
Yeah, that was really.
It's beautiful.
That one and the the kind of final showdown between the Jason type figure and the mom with the giant purple cloud
and the church and then the light. Yeah, it's
very,
amazing.
very I Saw the TV Glow-esque for that, at least that one shot.
For sure. So kind of wrapping and coming around the bend, wrapping up with production and audience feedback. So on October 2nd, 2014, they took an edit of the film and screened it for teenagers in LA. And then later that month, they ended up doing a few reshoots and pickups. So 26 days full, and then probably a couple extra days. One of the changes was originally the trailer for Camp Bloodbath was not intended to be seen until the kids were at the diner. And the test audiences had trouble kind of understanding the film's tone. So that's why we get it in the beginning.
Open, which I think is genius.
It just sets you off at where we're going.
It feels very SNL. The way it
does.
Just kind of throws you right in.
It just jumps right in, And then on December 22nd, 2014, they had completely finished the film. So I feel like things happened pretty fast for them. Final Girls had its world premiere March 13, 2015 at South by Southwest. It was one of the festival's opening night films at the Paramount Theater. It also screened at the Toronto International Film Festival and, how do you say it? SITGES?
Oh, Sitges, I think.
Yeah. I've never said that one before.
I might be wrong, but that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Sitges Film Festival. And then had a very, very limited theatrical run in the U.S. October 9th, 2015, and then basically went straight to video on demand. So that's why I think it kind of, we've learned if things don't stay in theaters, it doesn't really make money. So even combining there's like not much information when things go to video. So it's saying it grossed in theaters around $33K.
No.
I think it probably was there for like
a week.
In like 3 theaters.
That sounds about right.
And then on home video, home video 1.5 million. So it didn't make a ton.
Didn't make its money back, it sounds
Not
like.
at all.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
Because
if it would have been in theaters, it would have been so good.
It feels very much like a midnight movie type of thing.
Yeah.
Like old theaters doing like rerun screenings.
We should play it.
We should.
I wonder if anyone would come. I feel like no one talks about this film. We gotta teach them. So
truly.
So yeah, did not make its money back on a 4.5 million budget.
So sad.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So critics and final thoughts is a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Nice.
76% critic score, 71 audience score.
You will be pleased to hear that both the audience and the critics agree that your film is better than mine.
Oh, thank fuck.
Yeah.
I would be aghast.
Oh, I know. I was expecting it to have a higher rating than it did, actually.
Friday the 13th?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm interested.
It's above 50%, but it's not that high. Yeah.
Okay.
So higher than it should be, but
I wouldn't give it that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed. So overall, like I said, it gets pretty positive reviews. Again, the critics there's some like really bad critiques of this. One that I read, oh my god, I don't know if I wrote it down. When I read and I was like, who hurt you in this? It just felt like someone bitching with like no thing. Like I was like, make your own film and then get back to me. But again, a lot of people just say it juggles too many things. Rewatching it now, I think everyone's wrong.
Yeah.
Who criticizes this film? Like it's not perfect, but
it's
not many films are.
I'm really impressed by it.
Yeah.
I remain really impressed by it.
Yay, I'm so happy. I do have a couple positive reviews that I'll just run through. Dennis Harvey of Variety gave it a good review saying, though not quite as inspired or consistent, again, as the similarly self-mocking likes of Cabin in the Woods or Tucker and Dale versus Evil, the first 2 Scream picks, this is good fun that should delight genre fans. I do think Tucker and Dale and this would have been really fun to do.
Oh,
I think
haven't seen that.
I like this one better. I mean, I need to revisit Tucker and Dale, but this one's...
You know, I said I liked this better than Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. Which, like, and I
They're
really
so
enjoyed Cabin
different
in the Woods.
for
But I
being
think
meta.
this one felt... I think it was because of the mother-daughter relationship.
I know, that's what gets me.
Yeah. Which, like, Cabin in the Woods is very clever in its, like, meta horror comedy.
Yeah, it's super clever.
But this is clever and also made me feel things.
Yeah.
And that's always going to win me over more.
Yeah, that's why I think with Tucker and Dale, like Tucker and Dale's fun. But yeah, I was not expecting to get weepy over this fucking movie. We have one last little quote from Laura Kern from Film Comment. She said, "It's sharp, wickedly funny, and an unexpectedly heartfelt homage to slasher films, adding its gimmicky premise, perhaps, but a highly effective one. No mere meta exercise. The film's innovatively blends worlds of 1986 teen camp bloodbath with the modern day ones." So again, most people who see it love it. I just think the problem is a lot of people haven't seen this film.
Yeah. Go out and see it.
Yeah.
I was such a fan.
I'm so happy. I was so, because sometimes when I bring in more modern films, especially like these like meta aspect films, and like this one's very like, hey.
Yeah. Sometimes those don't hit for me as well. But this one, it worked.
It was just because it came off on Friday the 13th.
Just
you
always
were, like,
make me watch
anything.
Friday the 13th before any movie, and I'll give it 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that you liked it, because again, it kind of surprised me.
Me too.
Again, I knew I liked it, but clearly I didn't remember it.
Yeah, I went in with really pretty low expectations,
Yeah.
which I think probably was helpful, but I did take notes on some films that I thought it was referencing that I wanted to see if people talk about, or I also just have to shout out the stepping over the physical titles had me howling.
Oh, did you love that?
I loved that. That
so
was maybe the
funny.
funniest moment in the movie for me.
I love that you loved that moment.
I was delighted.
I was gonna say at the end when the credits are rolling, I was like, that would heal me.
Yeah.
Watching
Oh my God.
credits in the sky as like the sun's coming up.
Please
Send me there.
Yeah.
Me and you'd have
The
a great
relief
time.
I feel. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. What else do you
that's
have?
so funny. It definitely, the opening felt like it was a Disturbia homage with
Yeah, the car.
right. Yeah,
It's all I can see with stuff like that. I'm convinced any car, like immediate car crash like that is
with like a parental
Disturbia.
death. Yeah,
I love that you know that reference
Yeah,
now.
thanks to you.
Traumatized.
Felt like there was a lot of Final Destination in there, especially with the way that the theater bursts on fire. The sense of like watching as these different pieces of the fates come together to create destruction. Carrie, obviously, with the bucket pole, which felt like
absolutely,
and that's a tie-in between our films too, because Carrie was a big inspiration for mine.
Oh, funny.
What did I write Silence of the Lambs down for? Something. The lair reminded me of the final sequence in Silence of the Lambs. When she's going into Billy's lair and trying to catch these like jars of floating stuff. The way it was shot felt very like Clarice Starling going down into the basement.
I have to rewatch that one too.
Which is also one of the suggestions that we got for our 50th that I think has some potential with Silence of the Lambs. So shouting that out on air, write us in if you feel like that's of interest.
I know, we gotta
gotta
figure out what our 50th is. We're so old.
But yeah, it really, I mean, so much of like whether a horror comedy works is whether it is satisfying in the way it hits those homage beats, and I found it very satisfying.
Yeah. So. Yay. Again, that like bitchy fucking review said they did all those wrong. And I was like, who again? She just felt like fun.
Yeah, but what were you looking for?
I know.
That this
I don't know
film
why it
wasn't
really got
giving
me.
you? Yeah,
It kind of bummed me out.
I think it's, again, and I've said this on so many episodes, but like you've got to judge a film based on what it's trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And I think based on what this film was trying to achieve, it hit all of its goals.
Again, he wanted it to be Dead Alive.
Yes.
Which is wild to me. So,
God.
you know, it did a great job. Yay,
wow.
Final Girls.
Yeah, go watch it.
Yeah, everyone needs to watch that film.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I was
It's
so
a fun
pleasantly
time.
surprised. Yeah. What would you rate it for Letterboxd?
Ooh. I don't know. Again, like going off of like what it achieved and like the fact that this is the first time I think I like watching all these films, I might have like gotten teary.
Yeah.
So I might give it a out of what score? 5 out of 5? 5 stabs. 5 out of 5 stabs.
Oh, love that.
I think because I just nothing doesn't hit.
Yeah.
And like the jokes for 2015, I feel like the jokes could land really
so much worse.
Timely.
So much worse.
Yeah. And other than Adam Devine being like, I feel like he's gotten better with his comedy now.
Other than Adam Devine being like a little bit iffy at moments and like some of the Adderall humor, those are the only things that felt like very dated.
Yeah. So
and for 2015, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it could be so much worse. Yeah.
And
neither of those like offended me.
Good.
Like a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Yay.
Which I will admit I was fully going in expecting like a 2.5 or 3.
Yeah.
Like,
That feels right.
Yeah.
Based off of a track record of films.
Yeah.
So, yay.
So, really big fan. Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah, it might be a
exposing
rotation.
me to this.
Yeah. I'm glad it worked
Feels
out.
like it's going to be one that I'll probably return to at some point.
Oh my gosh, that's high praise coming
Yeah.
from you with new films. I feel accomplished when you feel that way about films I bring in, because sometimes we very much enjoy returning to very different films.
For sure, yeah.
So.
I'm probably not going to sit down and like break out a pen and paper and start studying it, but like I'll put it on while folding laundry or something. Yeah,
you should read. I have the article or the sources listed, but
Cool.
I'll send you the nerdy breakdown of all the camera stuff.
Yes,
I feel like
I would
you would
love
enjoy
that. Yeah, definitely. That's
I didn't know what it was saying. So.
Yes, please send me that.
Ready
to take a break and come back to camp?
I'm glad I don't have to talk anymore. I'm sorry I stumbled through that, everyone.
That was great. I had a great time.
Cool.
And we'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, show me this clip.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I forgot everyone. Again, this is like not timely to all of you because we're pre-recording, but I got to show Siena. So Jojo Siwa has recently, recent for us, the infamous now straight apparently, done a cover of Betty Davis Eyes, which is obviously the prominent.
Yes. Okay, also,
have you heard it?
I heard the teensiest little piece of it. However, because I feel like we need like a gay palate cleanser on the Betty Davis Eyes.
Oh, well, JoJo Siwa is not the way to go anymore.
I know. So let me just say, Ethel Cain's latest single that she just released is called Fuck Me Eyes. And she specifically released it saying, "This one's for you, Kim Carnes, who wrote Betty Davis Eyes." So if y'all are looking for the gay version,
palate cleanser to this?
Ignore that. Ignore JoJo Siwa's weird trad wife phase and go straight to Ethel Cain.
Can I wait? Oh,
yes,
everyone's already heard
you
it.
have to.
Have you heard it? If you've heard it, I'm gonna play it.
Play it. I feel like we need it.
Atrocious.
Oh,
she's just
good God.
Smoker's cough.
Does she
singing.
even know who Betty Davis is?
Probably
do
not.
we think?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
She's dressed like Marilyn Monroe. I feel like she has no idea.
I don't think she knows who Betty Davis is.
Also, I do have a little tidbit again to maybe palate cleanse that awful thing we all to listen to. If it sounds horrible, Warren, just go past. So Betty Davis Eyes was not the first song that they were going to use for Final Girls. They were going to use Madonna's Like a Prayer, which I think would have hit on some levels because of what that song. But I guess they wanted the song so much they wrote her a letter, and she was like, "Yeah, you can have any song except for that one. I don't license that song out." So they didn't get it, so they did change it. But I think people do edits to her dancing to that song sometimes, like on TikTok and everything. So
makes sense. I wonder, did they know on set that it wasn't going to be that one?
I don't know.
Interesting, because I think they probably.
They wrote it for that song.
Okay.
So
because I'm thinking Betty Davis Eyes and Like a Prayer probably have pretty similar BPMs, beats per minute. So you could probably
dance
put one over.
Yeah.
So anyway,
interesting. I don't know why I danced like that. That's what I was doing.
Anyway, y'all go listen to Ethel Cain's
Yeah.
Don't listen to JoJo Siwa's.
I just got into her or them.
Her.
I just got into her.
I am so obsessed. I
amazing.
adore Ethel.
Yeah.
Her internet presence is so wild. You should follow her on Instagram if you don't already.
Ooh, I don't.
She's a delight. That's one of
Yeah.
the few reasons I hang around that godforsaken place.
Anyway.
It's all for you, Ethel. Okay, Friday the 13th.
Here we go.
We're just gonna try and have as much fun with this as we can.
Yeah, I think we have to.
You know,
Again, sorry for the fans, but
I'm
boy, oh
sorry.
boy, what a franchise y'all are a part of.
Okay, let me just. I was telling you there is a scandal that was kind of resurfaced on TikTok that I think this really colored my experience of the film, particularly because I read about this before watching it.
Oh shit! Okay.
And I just can't. I can't forgive it.
Yeah.
I can't forgive it. And I almost feel like maybe we need to start there.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get it out.
Well, now you're teasing it, so I gotta know.
Yeah, and also just because I feel like this might be something that other folks in our area are maybe more familiar with this news.
Oh, okay.
So let me just skip ahead to the worst part of my notes.
Oh, God.
So that we can just get it out there. And like
That's saying a lot.
I have to apologize to you in particular, Al, because it's I know going to be especially awful for you.
No! Wait, what? No. Who do I have to hate now?
Everybody.
Kevin Bacon?
Not Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
You kind of have to hate Tom Savini.
No!
I know! He's like... This was enough of a scandal on TikTok in 2021 that he, like, released a statement on Twitter about it.
Oh, shit. Whoa, how did I miss this?
It's real bad, Al. So, okay.
Uh-oh.
Not only is the snake death real.
Oh, yeah. I knew that. That looked real.
Did you know the history behind that? Okay, this is what I, like, felt like throwing up after reading this.
Oh, no.
It wasn't just, like, a random snake they found in the woods. It was somebody's beloved pet snake. And they did not tell the snake owner that they were going to kill his snake on camera.
What the fuck?
So he is there on set when his snake gets killed on camera.
Oh my god.
And they are holding him back as he's, like, screaming and crying.
Oh my god, that makes me want to cry.
I know. I like I'm trying not to
Yeah,
tear
me
up
too.
describing
That's
this.
fucking awful. Oh my god, I'm getting weepy about it. Shut up.
So he was trying to step in to save his buddy, and Tom Savini has since, like, gone on the internet on Twitter and been like, I wasn't even on set that day, guys. But the thing is, the reason that he had to release a statement was because as the story resurfaced, people from the set were saying that Tom Savini was the one who introed the snake contact and suggested this, and he has not debunked that. He has not debunked that he was the one who suggested doing this. And it's so fucked up because we know he has the talent to do that,
also
to fake that.
It's easy to go, I did that and it was bad, and don't do that.
Exactly.
Like that, I did it and it was bad, and there's nothing I can do now except to own that was.
Yeah. It's also, before anybody's like, well, maybe it was a poisonous snake. It wasn't. It was a fucking bull snake. It was a sweet bull snake who was somebody's pet.
I would murder everyone on set.
Yeah. There are rumors that you can hear somebody crying in the back of that shot and that it's the snake's owner.
Oh my god.
So,
that's awful.
If any of
now
y'all
I really
still
hate
like
this
Friday the
fucking
13th after hearing that,
I knew it was, I mean, you can't fake that.
Yeah.
But somebody's pet.
It's really...
Oh my god, I'd murder everybody.
Yeah,
I'd actually murder everybody.
I can't get past that. I'm like that, especially given that in a lot of ways it was good timing that we did this immediately after The Hills Have Eyes, but like especially after talking about The Hills Have Eyes, where like not a tarantula was harmed, the snake handler was there all the time.
Humans we had to worry about.
Yeah, the humans were the ones who were scared. The animals were treated pristinely. So it's like, it's not that it wasn't possible at the time. It's not that the people that Sean Cunningham worked with, because that's one of his peers who he'd worked with on Last House on the Left, didn't know how to do this. It's that he chose to do that.
Yeah,
so
that's
like
sickening.
Yeah,
psychopaths.
Yeah, I think the people who made this movie are psychopaths. Like, this is the most moralistic I'm ever gonna sound on this podcast.
That makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, so had to get that out there because it just there's no good spin to put on that.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So, who's responsible for that atrocity? Director and producer Sean Cunningham, who we've talked about before because, as I just mentioned, he was the one who produced Last House on the Left, which was Wes Craven's first movie. That's why it kind of makes sense that we do this immediately after Hills Have Eyes. And it's kind of interesting that we're talking about these two directors because after Last House on the Left, both of these guys were like, I never want to make a movie like Last House on the Left again. Thing is, Wes Craven was like, I don't want to have to be put in the position of making that kind of a moral commentary on humanity again.
Right.
Sean Cunningham goes on from Last House on the Left and is like, I want to make something that's more of a roller coaster ride.
Oh my god.
And thus you get Friday the 13th.
Yeah, roller coaster ride and all that, like an actual horror ride.
Yeah. Like many of the horror filmmakers who came up in the 70s that we love to talk about, he is somebody who came from a brief stint in the porn producing world. He'd done kind of softcore sexploitation. He then directs two different, I've heard they're atrocious, very low budget Bad News Bears ripoffs. One of them is called...
What episode did I do where the writer, all he did was the
Bad News Bears? Yeah. Oh my god, what
Remember, it was
that?
Like literally everything.
Yeah, and
so they know each other. There's a connection.
So
it was like
funny.
2 episodes ago. That's so funny.
So he did Here Come the Tigers in 1978,
cool.
and Manny's Orphans also in 78, and then Friday the 13th. So kind of comes out of nowhere in the context of his career a little bit. Officially written by Victor Miller, who'd worked with Cunningham on Here Come the Tigers and Manny's Orphans, and had made a movie called The Black Pearl that seems to be like a nautically themed children's thriller. I had a lot of trouble researching both of these people's early careers. There's a lot of IMDb pages with no pictures and no plot descriptions.
Oh, okay.
Which usually that means porn, but I don't think that was the case with The Black Pearl. However, lots of porn going on behind the scenes. He goes on, this screenwriter Victor Miller, to write 195 episodes of All My Children.
Whoa.
As well as a couple other soaps. But at this point, he and Cunningham are just kind of living close to each other in Stamford, Connecticut. So it's it seems like it develops as a relationship of convenience, which is how almost everything on this film happens. There's like no love behind anything here.
It's like, well, you're here. Money. Cool.
Associate produced by Steve Miner, who goes on to direct the second and third installments in the franchise. So he was on the ground for the first. Quite possibly the cheesiest bunch of taglines we've encountered to date, which I'm sure is no surprise.
Not surprised.
I just selected a few of the worst for us.
Ooh, perfect.
Fridays will never be the same again.
I mean, that's kind of good.
Then, don't count on making it to Saturday morning. And then, lest you think we're done with the dates, don't make plans for Sunday.
Wait, are we making it to Saturday then?
I don't know. We're not sure, Al. Stay tuned and find out.
Yeah.
The plans are constantly changing. Then we have, they figured it would be a long summer. What they didn't figure was that it would be a long summer that day.
Oh my god. These are actually fucking eating.
Then we have, one by one they disappeared, ... Why? And then last and least, we have
Why?
Lucky 13, I think not. And then the best known from
we called it Lucky 13 ever.
I think not.
I think not.
I think not. And then the
my
tagline
God.
from the original poster that people are probably most familiar with is, they were warned, ... They are doomed, ... And on Friday the 13th, nothing will save them.
Oh god, that's
the worst. Yeah, the one they actually used is that.
Yeah.
I would so much rather don't count on making it to Sunday.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
What happened on Saturday, people? What about Saturday the 14th?
I need that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Saturday the 14th.
There's
we should
actually
make a fan film called...
There is one.
Fuck.
There's a Saturday the 14th that was released in like 1984 or something like that. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but
then we should watch
honestly
that.
sounds like more fun than Friday the 13th.
So now we know what happens Saturday.
Yeah,
Or we will.
We will. We'll find out. So
Fucking dumb.
listen, I'm trying, guys.
I don't know if I am anymore.
Mustering as much
upset about the
emotion for
snake.
this as I possibly can. We have Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Voorhees. At this point,
Diabolical lady.
she's her performance was one of my favorite parts.
Oh,
of
she's
the film.
great.
She's great. Yeah. She had at this point guest starred on a bunch of early TV programs like the United States Steel Hour and Goodyear Playhouse. But before getting
Classics.
Friday the 13th, she hadn't appeared on screen in 8 years. She also, fun fact, grew up next to Crystal Lake, Indiana, or near Crystal Lake, Indiana, which is a real lake there. I primarily referred to her in my notes as Mrs. Voorhees because, as is often the case with female characters in the 1980s, she wasn't given a first name until several installments down the line, so we don't actually know that she's Pamela at this point.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Wild.
we have Adrienne King as Alice. This was her first major role. She'd been in one TV movie and had a couple of uncredited appearances as a dancer on both Saturday Night Fever and Hair before this.
Whoa. Is she final girl?
Yes, yeah, and she appears in this and then the sequel, but she gets killed off very quickly in the sequel because she got a stalker off of this film and asked them to give her as little screen time as possible for the sequel because it was ruining her life. Yeah, lots of fun stories around this one. She then goes kind of dormant from 1981 to 2010 before returning to kind of like a bunch of low-budget horror work. Like, she voiced the Stranger in Silent Night, Bloody Night, The Homecoming. She's appeared in Friday the 13th fan films, which I found quite sweet.
That's
like
cute.
that, I think that's nice.
Yeah.
We can enjoy that.
Yeah.
We have Janine Taylor as Marcy. This was her first screen appearance, and she only has 2 other credits, both TV movies from 81 and 82. Robbie Morgan as Annie. She'd started as a child actress back in 1969, playing the young version of the title character in Me, Natalie. Then she was in a Debbie Reynolds movie in 1971,
Aww.
and then Nothing Till This in 1980, 9 years later. She does kind of a smattering of TV movies too, and similarly to Adrian, kind of has moved more into low-budget horror recently. And she'd originally come in to audition for a different project, but got offered this part instead because the casting director saw her and were like, you look like a camp counselor to us. And like all of the actors on this project, she did her own stunts, but thank God she was the one who has to jump out of the moving car because she actually had prior training in acrobatics.
Whoa.
Which is one of the only reasons she was able to do that without
Safely.
dying.
Yeah.
Yikes. Truly. So many things that could have gone so wrong on this film. Kevin Bacon as Jack. We love.
Baby Bacon.
Before this, he had appeared in National Lampoon's Animal House in 78. He also had 2 other small roles in between. Then he gets Friday the 13th. Then he appears on the TV show Guiding Light. And then he's in Footloose in 84, which I think that's where his career really takes off.
Absolutely.
To my understanding, from 80 to 84, he's still kind of on the way up at this point.
That seems right.
And he has since said that the photo he gets asked to autograph the most in his entire career is his death scene from this movie, and he feels a little bit weird about it. He's like, it's a little disconcerting.
Weird.
You would think that Kevin Bacon,
yeah, there's
like I would think Footloose. I would like there are so many other things that I would expect before
How many
him
of you
dead
are
with an
there
arrow
out there.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th fans. Are we in the minority, I wonder? We have to be. There's like 12 of them we found out in the break.
There's 12 of them.
Wild.
Yeah,
his does seem Fox, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It's quite good. And we'll talk about how they shot that.
Okay,
I've got some fun behind the scenes for that one in particular. We have Harry Crosby as Bill. This was his first screen appearance. He only has 5 total acting credits, but if you're wondering about the last name, he is indeed a Nepo baby. This is Bing Crosby's namesake son. Which they apparently, one of the VHS releases, they spelled his name wrong and had to re-release it.
Oh, they threw a fit.
Yeah. They spelled it, I think they did Cosby instead, and they were like,
"Yikes!"
Actually, that.
Was he the older? Who was he?
He's Bill. I'm trying to remember which character that is.
Is he the one with the ladder with the girl?
I think so. I'm gonna go with yes.
I feel like I heard
no.
I feel like I heard everyone's like names once, and then you never hear them again.
It doesn't feel
okay.
That
We
important.
can move on. It's fine.
We also have Mark Nelson as Ned. This is his first on-screen appearance, but he goes on to roles in The First Wives Club and Law and Order, but also does a ton of prestigious stage work. Like he does a lot of Broadway acting.
Oh wow, cool.
So I think he and Kevin Bacon are the ones who kind of go on to the most successful careers from this. And moving into the writing.
Oh no.
Okay, so first, the title of this movie was going to be A Long Night at Camp Blood, which there's a little
Camp Bloodbath.
Little tie-in there. Cunningham then suggests Friday the 13th. Miller starts redrafting to that title, and in a bizarrely modern twist that also just I find it deeply disappointing, Cunningham puts an ad for this film in papers before the script is even finished. And that's how he gets the film funded, is by putting an ad in Variety with just the title, and he spent money to get like the title font mocked up, and advertises it as the most terrifying film ever made. Hasn't been made yet.
Yeah.
I have the ad.
Oh my god. Oh, I mean,
this is what it's based off of, which
it kind of fucks.
It's good, but it's like we were talking about with Warren during the break, the idea of horror films being pitched based on what their VHS cover would look like.
Yeah, I had
this
no idea.
Is pitched off of its ad before there's even a script. So And at this point, part of the reason he does this is because he's not sure that the title Friday the 13th is actually available, and he's like, well, I guess we're gonna find out.
Oh shit. So
That's how he decides to find out.
Whoa.
And in fact, it's not fully available because there is another movie called, I think it's Friday the 13th : Orphan, that the producers have to pay off in order to get this released, because that's coming out in 1979, the year before. Yeah, so
wild.
It just really could not be further from how your film starts, right?
Yeah.
Like this really personal, traumatic tragedy that you're trying to use horror to find a way of coping with versus,
and like,
well, no, I don't think anybody's used the title yet. And I've got a cool font.
Like.
Yeah.
I got a cool
cool font.
Yeah.
Which also the titles don't even relate to the movie. Like, it's the title Friday the 13th coming through a pane of breaking glass, which, like, what does that even have to do with the movie? Like,
it's the best part.
I guess.
It starts and ends there for me.
The only worthwhile thing in the film. So Miller, like many horror writers, draws from childhood nightmares, but in his case, apparently he had like a series of childhood nightmares about being murdered. Which, like, I'm like, what was going on with this dude? Yeah, that's a very intense nightmare to be having.
Yeah,
so
yikes.
He draws a lot of the more creative deaths in this movie from his childhood nightmares of murder. And to him, Mrs. Voorhees is always the most interesting part of the movie, and the part that subsequent installments get so wrong, because he's gone on the record saying that he is not a fan of the sequels. Actually, here's the quote. To be honest, I have not seen any of the sequels, but I have a major problem with all of them because they made Jason the villain. I still believe that the best part of my screenplay was the fact that a mother figure was the serial killer, working from a horribly twisted desire to avenge the senseless death of her son, Jason. Jason was dead from the very beginning. He was a victim, not a villain. But I took motherhood and turned it on its head, and I think that was great fun. Mrs. Voorhees was the mother I'd always wanted, a mother who would have killed for her kids. And so the idea that he starts from is like a reversal of Psycho, where...
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, it's a reverse Psycho.
Which I think that in itself...
I like that concept.
Yeah,
I like the idea of that.
That's a concept with some promise.
Yeah,
promising premise.
A promising premise.
A promising premise. But I think the problem, a couple of the problems, one is that we only get Mrs. Voorhees at the very end.
We don't explore the concept.
We don't explore the concepts. And it's only planted at the very end, which is something that the actress, Betsy Palmer, tried to push the director to put her in earlier, and he pushed back on. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. So, given that quote, as you can imagine, Miller was not the originator of Jason's appearance at the end. That... A lot of people take credit for that. Tom Savini is one of the people who takes credit for that. And I have a quote from him. He said that, quote, the whole reason for the cliffhanger at the end was that I had just seen Carrie, and so we thought we needed a chair jumper like that and said, let's bring in Jason. In the original screenplay, the film just ends with Alice floating in the lake.
Which is a great image.
It's a great image. And I feel like I would have liked it better if it had ended without Jason coming back, because I think that's why we get all of the sequels, obviously.
Sure.
But it feels to me like that undercuts so much of what Miller is trying to do with the idea of the mother, because then it's like, did he really die? It makes him the real monster, which then undercuts some of the loving dynamic between the mother and the son. It just feels like it's throwing everything that is potentially of significance emotionally out the window to me.
I also think that's like, if the film was better, that would have been the better ending, but I almost feel like this is very fitting.
It is fitting for the film we got. You're very right.
Yeah.
You're very right. And Miller has no illusions about the kind of movie that he's making. He, in 2009, basically lays out the full formula that he was working from and says, quote, basically, you start with a prior evil that happens before the movie opens. You have a bunch of brandy teenagers who are outside the help of formal authority. Adults cannot come in to save their asses, and you knock them off one by one, especially the ones who fornicate. And at the end, the evil genius is found.
I don't like when people talk about films and formulas.
I don't either.
It's so...
Especially
like
when they're the
Hollywood
ones making the film. films. Yeah.
It's just this formula.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So fuck story, I
Right.
guess.
So
here's
fuck
the formula.
emotions.
Yeah.
Fuck making me feel anything unique to your tale. And fuck character development too. Because that to me is so much. There are a lot of formulas in screenplay writing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar beats that get hit. Where you differentiate it is how you execute it and who the characters are.
Yeah.
And that to me is part of what this film is so lacking. Yeah. So yeah, here's the quote from Betsy herself, who was like, "It's not really fair to the audience to set up this murder mystery of who done it. And the answer is somebody that you haven't even planted in the narrative at all." And she was like, quote, "You're not even going to give anybody a loose clue that I'm on the scene. They should at least have a glimpse of this woman somewhere earlier in the film. You should put me in that little diner Steve Christie visits. Or at a stoplight in my Jeep. Whatever, just a flash somewhere."
Oh my god. And they didn't even do that.
Cunningham wasn't looking to play fair.
Yeah.
He's not trying to give the audience any chance to actually solve the mystery.
Yeah, and then they just cut her head off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is great.
Great.
Like,
Great.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, at least you could rewatch it back and be like, oh my god, she was there the
I
whole
missed
time.
that. Maybe if I'd been really looking, I could have put together Jeep and Jeep or something.
Yep.
That would have made it a lot more satisfying to me.
Yeah.
Even just one quick flash. And it was suggested on set, but no.
Yeah. For the actress to suggest that too is and that tells you everything you need to know is when they're more invested then.
And she did not want to do this movie, as we're going to get into, but anyway. So, shot in primarily Blairstown, New Jersey. It shot in 3 little New Jersey towns, but Blairstown is the major one they were at, beginning in September 1979. So again, much like Sleepaway Camp, when you're shooting a movie that takes place at a sleepaway camp, you can't shoot during the summer. Yep. So you've got to shoot when it's really fucking cold, which is going to cause some problems as we get into it. The camp itself, how much do you want to guess the budget was for this?
Oh my god.
Obviously, it's cheap.
At a camp. 79?
79 was production. Comes out in 80.
I'm gonna say, is it over what Last House on the Left was?
Significantly.
Oh.
It's over Last House on the Left. It's also over Hills Have Eyes.
Oh my god, I forgot what that one was. It's $500,000.
You're really close, yeah. 550 to 650.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So you're right on the money. About 20K of which was just Sevigny's special effects, which feels appropriate for a movie like this.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
The camp itself was Camp Nobi Bosco, a Boy Scout camp that is still running today, and they got that location by making what I can only imagine was a very hefty donation to the Boy Scouts of America. Most of the cast and crew stayed off-site, but Tom Savini and his assistant lived at camp, which I thought was kind of cute. But as I teed up, because you're beginning in September and they shoot through November, you're going to run into a lot of weather that doesn't look or feel like what you're looking for. And so because of that, they had to rewrite a couple of scenes that were supposed to take place outside for interiors.
Okay, that makes sense. So I was like, all the trees would be changing.
Exactly.
I can't even remember if the trees looked like they were.
We see less of the leaves changing in this one than we do in Sleepaway Camp, but I think that's largely because they started outside and kind of moved inside over the course of it. Cunningham, moving into cast and crew, he openly is prioritizing likability over chops. He doesn't really care about getting actors who he thinks are good as much as actors who look like they're in a Pepsi commercial. That's his goal. So you get a lot of soap actors.
Sure.
Alice was the only role that was an open casting call, which was kind of a marketing stunt to attract attention. But that wasn't what the filmmakers initially wanted, because they had been hoping to get Sally Field for the part.
Whoa.
They wanted Sally Field to be the final girl of Friday the 13th, which...
Thank fuck she didn't do that.
Truly.
I mean, she would have made it better.
She would have made it better, but at what cost to Sally Field?
I wonder if that would have driven her.
Ruined her
I don't
career?
know, because with a bad director, the acting really does not turn out great.
No,
and a bad
it
script.
doesn't. A lot of these actors, I think, are kind of doing the best they can with what they've got. But,
I actually do think the actors pull
they're
it off
mostly
pretty well.
fine. Yeah. But even Kevin Bacon, who's wonderful, it's still there are moments that feel pretty unbelievable just because
robotic a little bit.
Yeah, just because he's being asked to do things that human beings don't do. And it's not on Kevin.
Yeah. So Wow,
Yeah.
yikes.
So they realized that they can't afford Sally Field.
Good.
No shit, Sherlock.
Good to her managers.
And then, as Adrian, who gets the role, puts it, originally the producers were looking really hard for a name actress to play Alice. They finally realized that even if they could find somebody like that who was willing to do it, they wouldn't be able to afford her. So they decided to go with new talent instead.
It kind of feels like a bummer for her.
I know, and it's especially that she is so aware that she was not the first choice.
Yeah, that sucks.
She herself lands an audition through a friend of a friend, kind of X degrees from Kevin Bacon type of situation. To the casting director's office. And when Sean Cunningham sees her audition, they're like, oh, we saved the best for last. So,
Okay.
yeah, fine,
believe
whatever.
that.
Yeah, as if you actually care about the actors being good, but as if you care,
She
Sean.
looks like she could be in a commercial.
Yeah,
Pepsi
she looks
commercial.
like a Pepsi commercial. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Her take on the experience, pretty different from Sean's. She says, quote, it wasn't even a scene. It was just, hello, here's my picture. I'm young and nubile and can scream very well. Which, yeah, that sounds about right. Because again, remember, they put the ad in Variety in the spring. They're shooting by September. In the spring, they didn't even have a script. So by the time they get to set, the script is still in process.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'm sure by the time they were auditioning characters,
They had no fucking clue.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
can
don't
you
think they had a full script
Smile and
at
scream
all.
real quick.
Mark also, the one who I said goes on to kind of a Broadway career, has a particularly weird audition experience because the first
no.
sides he got were all like comedic scenes, and so he's thinking it's a comedy movie.
Should have been.
It should have been. He then gets a call back and gets told to come back in a swimsuit. And he's like, what am I doing? And as he put it, quote, it was only after they offered me the part that they gave me the full script to read, and I realized how much blood was in it. And I think they probably didn't have the script before that.
Yeah.
And so his backstory for himself is that Ned has a crush on Brenda and is trying to impress her. He's considered kind of one of the earlier examples of the practical joker victim trope that's now very ubiquitous in slashers. And I think, oh my gosh, what's the character's name in yours who feels kind of similar to that? The big fanboy who...
Duncan.
Duncan, yeah. It feels like Duncan has a little bit of practical joker energy
For
to
sure,
him,
for
too.
sure. Oh, funny.
Another wild casting story that, again, I think this is really painting a picture of Sean Cunningham.
Yeah, yikes.
So the AD of this project is a woman, Cindy Veazey, and at the time she's dating Peter Brower. Peter is the one who plays the head of the camp, the guy who's reopening it.
Yeah.
Peter is an actor, and he tries to get Cindy to get him a part in this because he's just gotten written off of the show that he was on. And at the time, production's only looking for name actors, so she tells him no, and then Sean Cunningham comes by Veazey's place, sees Brower working in the garden, decides to cast him. However, I found another interview saying that apparently Cindy threatened to drop the project unless he cast her boyfriend, which I think is probably true. And she'd worked with him as the AD on Sean Cunningham's previous Bad News Bears ripoff, so like he needed his AD, so like of course he's gonna cast her boyfriend.
Also, like, it feels like they started off wanting name actors, realized they couldn't get them, and probably no one was fucking interested. And so he's like, oh, yeah, sure. It's like,
why
off.
not?
Yeah.
Well, and it also sounds like
scrambling.
they were about to start shooting and didn't have the character cast and were kind of ready to put anybody in.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that I think Peter did, like, a particularly bad job.
He fits right in.
Yeah. Everybody's at about the same level, it feels
I
like.
think so.
Nobody's performance stands out as particularly worse than anybody else's to me, and the only one that stands out as particularly good is Betsy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, she kind of eats.
So speaking of Betsy, Mrs. Voorhees was offered to both Estelle Parsons and Shelley Winters, who was an Oscar winner, who both turned it down because of violence.
Wow. Yeah.
Betsy Palmer only takes it because she's desperate to get a new car. And they pay her $1,000 a day for 10 days, and she needs $10K to get the car. And she's like, okay, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Oh my God, funny.
But she like fully believes that it's going to be terrible.
Car is so funny.
I know that nobody's going to want to watch this, and part of that is because she's known kind of for game shows up until this point, and she's like, this is really casting out a character.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to find me scary.
God, she's
but
terrifying.
despite that, despite only taking this role for the car. She is a devoted actress. She's a really big fan of Stanislavski's method, and so she takes her backstory really seriously. She decides that Mrs. Voorhees got pregnant as an unmarried teen, was disowned by her family. She's struggling as a single mom, loses her son, and becomes, quote, very psychotic and puritanical in her attitudes as she was determined to kill all of the immoral camp counselors.
I mean,
so I think she's the only one who's really working to put together any kind of like coherent logic behind the scenes.
I mean, clearly she like thought it out because she was giving really good suggestions that the director didn't
if only if only Betsy had directed this,
honestly,
I would have liked it a lot better. I think. Cunningham was particularly concerned because of this with getting the tone just right for Mrs. Voorhees, and so they had to work very hard to find kind of just the right degree of not being too much, not being too little to feel like it actually was scary.
Yeah.
And Ari Lehman, who plays Jason for that quick little brief little appearance, he's now known as the front man of the band First Jason.
That's cute.
Yeah, he's in a hardcore band called First Jason.
Wow.
He had auditioned for Manny's Orphans, the Bad News Bears ripoff, didn't get it, and was hell bent on getting the part, and so basically hounded Sean Cunningham to convince him that he had to be this character. And he was only 14 at the time.
I was going to say, how old was he?
Just a baby.
Oh my gosh.
For the vast majority of the murder sequences, though, basically anywhere you can't see Betsy's face, Mrs. Voorhees was actually being played by Tom Savini's assistant, Tassos Stavrakis, who is a very hairy Greek man. So you you watch for it, you see a lot of like knuckle hair and stuff in most of the shots of Mrs. Voorhees that don't have her face.
That's so funny.
Moving into the making of, one of the scenes that got thrown off by a surprise snowstorm was actually the opening. It was supposed to take place by the lake instead of having them like sneak off to a barn to fuck. That was just because they got hit by a snowstorm and the generator went out. The ending scene with Alice floating in the boat. Yeah. They tried to shoot that 3 different times, and the director was unhappy with it every time. So they shot it in September. He wasn't happy. They came back in October. He wasn't happy. And it's finally November by the time they make her do it again. By which point, of course, it is so cold that she then gets sick for 2 weeks after having to shoot it. Great guy, Sean Cunningham. And again, because of the budget, no stunt performers, also no fight choreographers. It's just the actors. Dang. And with a mix of film and theater actors, this caused difficulties. So here's a quote from Betsy Palmer. Quote, I said to Adrian that night when they were shooting their final confrontation between Mrs. Voorhees and, oh my gosh, what's her name? Alice, thank you. I said to Adrian that night, why don't we rehearse this scene? I have to slap you. Because on stage, when you slap somebody, you slap them. So she slaps her and then, quote, she collapsed to the floor, crying, Sean, she hit me. And I said, well, of course I hit her. We were rehearsing the scene. And he said, no, Betsy, we don't hit people in the movies. We miss them.
No, Betsy.
No, Betsy, we don't hit people in the movies.
Imagine not having it. Also, just to not have a prior conversation and you just smack.
So wild. Well, and it's kind of funny to me because usually on stage, it's all the easier to not hit somebody. Like what you'll do is you clap your hands so that it makes like a sound, but isn't actually painful. Yeah, so I'm curious about her theatrical training. Yeah. But anyway, let's see. Tom Savini time. Okay. Let's talk about at least some of the fun things he contributed to this movie besides snake death. So he did the axe to the face, he did the arrow to the throat, he did the machete decapitations, and I actually have a diagram, Tom Savini diagram of Jack's death. Oh, whoa. So here's, and I'll walk you through this in a second.
Fun. Okay, that's what I thought that they did.
It kind of makes sense, but
I want that like hung up. That's like a cool like print.
This one is very it reminded me a lot of the story of shooting the chest burster in Alien. So you have basically a prosthetic neck, as you'd expect. Kevin Bacon is sitting underneath the bed with his head pushed through the prosthetic neck, which also obviously makes for a very uncomfortable angle for Kevin Bacon because he's got to sit like that to make it look like his neck is in the right position. And there's a blood bag with a pump hooked up to a hole in the fake neck that the arrow's going to go through. Tom Savini's crouched under the bed with the arrow to like shove it through the hole in the fake neck and through Kevin Bacon's legs. Sounds pretty straightforward in principle. Diagram looks pretty straightforward. But of course, they only have enough budget to make one fake chest. So they have to get it right on one take.
Oh, gosh.
And in the middle of the take, as they're shooting, the blood pump breaks.
Oh, no.
And Tassos Stavrakis jumps to the rescue, Tom Savini's assistant, and says, quote, "I just grabbed the hose and blew like crazy, which thankfully caused a serendipitous arterial blood spray. The blood didn't taste that bad either."
This fucking guy.
Yeah. So he just like jumps in and is like,
he's like, I got it.
Yeah, I got this, everybody. I
was made for this moment.
Put me in chief.
Yeah.
Which is also why you get those wonderfully gross blood bubbles during that scene, is because it's not a pump, it's a person blowing air.
Whoa. I love that everyone kind of held to it. Yeah. And stayed in that moment to get that done.
And apparently Kevin Bacon, I think this was one of his first, if not his very first screen deaths. And so he was also just like, I don't know what my face is supposed to do. I don't know what getting stabbed by an arrow looks like.
Probably was worried. And so
and I think that added to the effect. And I also get the sense that because something went wrong while they were shooting it, I think that's part of what you're seeing on the actors' faces, is the horror of
and he's just in there.
Yeah, he's just trapped like,
what's going on? Why is the Greek fan running over?
Why isn't the arrow coming through my neck yet?
Why is he huffing and puffing under the bed? That's so funny. That's wild.
They were also Marcy, who gets axed to death. They were originally going to show the axing on screen, but the axe itself kept sliding across the surface of the mold for her her fake face. So they had to cut two axe in face instead, which I honestly think is a little bit more effective.
Yeah.
It still hits the same way.
Yeah.
Obviously Bill's death is a Saint Sebastian reference, which I think is probably also another Carrie homage, but I digress. Given that in Carrie we have Saint Sebastian everywhere, there's the statue, that's how Margaret dies. Anyway, in another, however, horrible art imitates life moment, one of the fake arrows was attached to his closed eye to look like he'd been shot in the eyeball. And the ingredients in the fake blood and the adhesive that they use gave him a reaction so bad that he temporarily went blind in that eye.
Makes me horrified.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the test things.
I know.
Before we put them on the eyeballs.
I saw somebody saying that it was like a photochemical, like a photo development chemical. And I was like, first of all, why would that be in there? Couldn't find enough information to confirm that. But you don't put that on humans.
Oh my God.
You don't put that on humans.
Yeah. Especially, again, not
on an eye. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's actually horrifying.
Mm-hmm. The decapitation scene when Mrs. Voorhees' head goes flying, no actors there at all. It was just Tom Savini and Tassos Stavrakis, and they put the fake head on, I think, Tassos' shoulders with his head punched down.
This guy is everywhere.
He's everywhere.
His little finger, literally,
Truly.
his little fingers are everywhere. His little hairy knuckles.
His hairy little fingers.
Oh my God.
Score is by Harry Manfredini, who'd worked with Cunningham on his past two Bad News Bears ripoffs.
Of course.
But was still very much early in this phase of his career. However, he went on to work on Swamp Thing, the Tobe Hooper movie. He did Hills Have Eyes Part 2. I think that's Tobe Hooper. Is it Wes Craven? Swamp Thing? I could be wrong. It's one of those two.
It's Wes.
Wes. Okay, Wes. Thank you. He did Hills Have Eyes Part 2, obviously also Wes Craven. Yeah. This year's Jurassic Reborn, which I think it's not Jurassic World. It's a Jurassic World ripoff. Yeah, which I'm now very curious about. I had to double check that it wasn't the same movie. It's not.
Love a ripoff dino movie.
It's not.
They're so bad.
Yeah, but so he's still working this year. And he and the filmmakers agreed beforehand that they were going to try really hard not to overdo the musical cues. So their rule for themselves was, we only hear music when the killer is actually present, which obviously becomes a big part of your film. Yeah.
So bad.
And he actually also has the score completely cut out before there's a death, as this kind of like lulling you into a false sense of security thing. He was also very much thinking about Jaws in terms of the idea of the killer is unseen and unknown for so much of the movie, so the music takes the place of the killer. And I think that the score is probably, honestly, I'm gonna say it, I think it's the only reason this movie's lasted.
It's Jaws mixed with American Psycho with Psycho, but in a way that's not like a ripoff, like
That's
Reanimator.
unique. Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, at one point it then turns into Twin Peaks.
Yes. Yeah. There's
And
like
I was
a
like,
little
did
bit
Twin
of a
Peaks...
Badalamenti feel to it at points.
Yeah. And so I was like, the score kind of fucked.
The score is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I have like no complaints about.
Yeah.
That and Tasso Stavrakis, they can stay and nothing
honestly,
else.
Yeah. And Betsy.
And Betsy, yeah. So the particular sound of that was inspired.
Is it Kiki Mama?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what it is. We're going to talk about why. That was inspired by the Polish composer Penderecki, who himself has kind of a horror pedigree. He doesn't usually compose for movies, but his music has been used in The Exorcist, The Shining, Twin Peaks: The Return. So yeah,
Okay.
you're right on the note,
Okay.
right on the nose. And Manfredini had been listening to a particular Penderecki chorus that had what he called these striking pronunciations. And he gets inspired by that because he's thinking it feels like this should have this kind of choral component, but he's working on a tiny budget and recording the whole thing in his basement. And so he's like, how am I gonna do that? He hears this Penderecki piece and goes, oh, I've got an idea. And he takes the sounds from when Mrs. Voorhees is as Jason saying, kill her mommy. He takes the ki and the ma from that. And so
fucking cool.
And he repeats them himself. That's his voice, the composer's voice, doing with this kind of harsh vocal quality. And then he runs that through a reverb machine to get what sounds to me actually like a very kind of Goblin-inspired score. Like it has this very giallo feel to it too, which is how you get that.
I had no idea it was... What the fuck? That's cool. Okay.
A lot of people have misheard it as other things. And so there's a lot of... Yeah, a lot of people do. Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah.
Which the character in yours, Duncan, quotes correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the subtitles on. I went back to make sure that he was actually doing it correctly, and it was Kikiki Mama. So they checked.
Funny. I missed that because my subtitles were going a little bit ahead, and I don't like to spoil things.
Yeah, so you're not watching
until after. So I will watch it and then I looked down.
And apparently the whole score was composed in 2 weeks and then recorded in a basement.
Damn.
Yeah, and I think it's
solid.
That's the reason it works. If you watched this movie with the sound off, I don't think it would hold up at all.
Yeah. It also I don't think it was, well, maybe for the composer it was intentional, like homages.
Yeah.
I don't believe
everything
the director
else
had anything to do with that.
Everything else is just blatant ripoffs. Like there's even, I didn't put the exact place that it's quoted from, but Sean Cunningham has gone on the record saying, we basically just watched Halloween and we're like, let's rip this off.
Whoa.
So he's not even pretending that he cares at all.
Yeah.
We were also, though, there was going to be an earlier clue about who the killer's identity was, which I think this would have been much more interesting. Originally, we were going to see Mrs. Voorhees lose a finger during those first murders in the cold open. And then when we see her, when she first appears on screen, we would see that she's missing a finger. And so there would be a tip-off, which again, then that would be fairer to the audience.
Yeah, that one's super obvious because you know what Betsy recommended too, so
right.
Wild. Okay.
I would have preferred Betsy's choice, but
yeah, I think something as subtle
literally
as a car.
just let me see the Jeep in the background with her driving. That's all I need. Okay, one last animal story though. A good animal story.
I was like, Siena, you can't. We can't go on.
Thank God there's no other horrible ones for this. But I did have to end us on one happier production animal note just to lighten the load a little bit. Yeah, bookend us. Originally, I'd had the snake note just before this in my notes, and I was like, we've got to...
I don't think I could recover fast enough.
That's why I ended up moving it up to the beginning. I was like, it's too sad. We can't...
Thank
We're going to end on a down note if I put that halfway through. Yeah.
An hour to process.
So for a more enjoyable animal story, the only tidbit that I encountered about the cinematographer of this, whose name is Barry Abrams, as retold by author David Grove, who released a book on the making of this film in 2014, I think, said, quote, Barry Abrams went down to the lake to take a pee, because obviously, you know, you're camp vibes, and a beaver snapped at his privates. He ran back up to camp saying, "There's an anti-Semitic beaver down at the lake."
Oh my God. What a line. Is that what the crew shirt said?
Right. There's a new merch. Yeah. Anti-Semitic beaver.
Oh my God.
That could be taken as a
that beaver
terrible
was like,
ways.
this movie's horrible. Stop. Stop making it.
So yeah, that was like one of the only little bits of lightness I could find
the beaver
from this.
saw the snake thing. He's like, I'm gonna get you all back for
Yeah.
this.
Revenge for my
Beaver
snake brother.
revenge. Revenge of the beaver.
Now that's a movie I'd watch.
Same.
So,
Oh God.
moving into release, this film, I think, may be the earliest example we've encountered of a horror movie launching a bidding war. Because again, 1980, you don't really hear about that at this point. I know. It's basically all due to the success of Halloween, which,
Sure.
you know, you kind of makes sense. But so Paramount, Warner Brothers, and United Artists are all fighting for the rights of this, and it ends up getting divided up between them. So Warner Brothers takes the foreign distro rights, Paramount takes domestic distro for $1.5 million, which is about 3 times what the film cost. And a sure sign of slasher films to come, but also, God, did they get a good deal.
Yeah. Oh God. Did it make a shit ton?
Oh, it made so much money. We're going to get to that in a second. But meanwhile, Paramount puts a lot of money into advertising, which, as we know, that's the deciding factor. I've seen figures ranging from 1 to 4 mil.
Wow.
So, you know, we're talking,
wow.
you know, 2 to 8 times the budget of the film itself.
That makes sense.
And Frank Mancuso from Paramount, who goes on to kind of be a part of most of the Friday the 13th movies that follow this, specifically tries to attract young people to the film by kind of framing it as, quote unquote, an illicit event, to give it this sense of like, this is something like dirty and wrong that your parents aren't going to want you to see type of advertisement.
Genius.
Which I think probably really worked.
Yep.
Weirdly, Variety has it out for this film before it even releases, which, like, I kind of love. And so they predict in print that it'll be a flop because it, quote, has nothing to exploit but its title and whatever oomph Paramount puts into the marketing campaign.
Fuck, called them out.
Yeah, truly.
Dang.
Which, like, after having seen it, because I took these notes before watching it, I was like, God, that's mean, Variety. And now I'm like, they were right.
They're right.
They were right.
They were right the whole time.
So this premieres on May 9th, 1980, just as the weather's starting to warm up, just the right time, and goes on to be second only to Empire Strikes Back at the box office that summer. Insane.
Whoa.
Comes in at, I think, the 18th highest grossing film of the year globally, 15th highest domestically. And it's competing against titles like The Shining, that came out this year. What do you want to guess this made back?
Fucking hell. Was it in theaters for a while?
Yeah.
Or like the whole summer, probably?
Probably.
Oh my God.
Again, like $500K budget.
$1 million.
So domestically alone, 40 mil. Worldwide,
Bro.
60.
Whoa.
60.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And like, again, to put this into perspective, remember last session, Hills Have Eyes made, I think, about 20, and the producers were like, oh, kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that's wild. 60
Yeah.
million. And Final Girls made 33,000.
We live in an unjust world.
Wild.
Ugh.
Are we? I just like. I'm like. Are we missing something?
I know. I would have liked to have a better time.
I know.
With this.
You'll need to let us know. I'm actually really curious if fans like. I don't want to hate on you.
No.
Not hating
like,
on you for liking it. I want to know why.
If you can help, but like guide us into an appreciation of it,
yeah,
I would love that.
I really want to know.
Yeah, because like I love a summer camp horror. Like there's so many things about this that it should work.
And I'm like,
for
maybe
me.
the second and third one are like better.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe this one like is notoriously. Well, I don't know. It did 60 million.
60 million.
That's like one of our tops.
Launched a genre practically. I do think I suspect that this benefited strongly from where it was in relation to the development of VHS technology.
Sure.
Because this film comes out in 1980, and sequel comes out in 81, like basically just one year next May. But
That's
in
fast.
that time, by the time the sequel's coming out, you can get the original on VHS and Betamax, which is, I don't think, something we've encountered yet
Sure.
in this early in the horror films we're talking about. So you're really developing the kind of fan culture that we're seeing today.
And this, like, slasher, like, there's this wave that they're just inherently perfectly timed in writing. Again, his stupid fucking formula. He's not, like, wrong with it.
But it's soulless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we started recording, we'd had a little debate about which version did we both watch, and I told you it really doesn't matter because, as I said, when this eventually gets a DVD release with a quote-unquote unrated uncut version, the unrated uncut version is a whopping 11 seconds longer than the original. So, like, it doesn't matter.
And we said it should have been 13 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If only. I actually, I have that in my notes in parentheses. If only it was 13.
So funny.
Which, it also, this film is critically reviled in a way I don't think we've seen before. And I honestly have almost mixed feelings about it because as much as I hate this movie, I don't think that the way critics handled this was appropriate because Siskel of Siskel and Ebert fame hates this movie with such a passion that he's like, I am going to do everything I can to destroy not only the movie, but the lives of everyone who worked on it.
It's not their fault.
He goes on a vendetta where he intentionally spoils the ending in print, tells everybody what it is, after going on this like rant about, as a critic, you have a moral responsibility to never spoil a film unless your intention is to make sure nobody goes to see it. So, in order to make sure nobody goes to see Friday the 13th, here's what happens with Mrs. Voorhees. Spoils it all in print. And then proto-doxes Betsy to get people to write her protest letters. He's like, send letters to this address.
Oh,
I think he, from what I understand, Ebert gave the wrong address for Betsy. Siskel just said general attention of the town that she lives in, so she luckily didn't actually get that many letters. But they thought they were giving out her home address. Like,
also, like, what did she acted in this project?
Why do you think it's her fault?
Directors,
take down
writers.
Sean Cunningham.
Yeah, directors, writers.
yeah. They don't get mad at Sean. They get mad at her and one of the distributors.
Really
which
fucked up. Well,
especially, I can understand getting mad at the distributors, but especially getting mad at Betsy is really ironic because Siskel and Ebert then go on to do a special episode in, I think, 1981, 80 or 81, that's on how horror films hate women. And how, like, the genre and the development of the slasher is all about, like, destroying women. And then they're like, let's dox this lead actress.
Yeah, and, like, people could, if it was her home address, go to her house and kill her.
Yeah, exactly. So who really
cool.
hates women here?
Yeah.
Siskel and Ebert?
Wild. I'm all for the first half. I am not.
Yeah.
That's really fucked up.
Yeah. And ironically, Sean Cunningham actually, several decades on, responds to Siskel's frustrations in print and says, quote, "The person who calls Friday the 13th a film is pretentious. This is the movie business we're involved in, and there's a difference." Which, like, he's not wrong.
He double downs.
Yeah.
At least he, like, stays on his path.
He's honest. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
He's right. This is not a film.
Yeah.
It was nominated for a Razzie the year of its release.
Amazing. As it should be.
As it should be. Unfortunately, Betsy also got nominated for Worst Actress, which again, I'm like, what do y'all have against Betsy? She's doing what the role requires.
Damn.
It now holds, or I want you to guess, actually. What do you think this has from critics versus audiences on Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, you kind of teased, so I feel like
I told you it's lower than yours.
Yeah. I mean, in my world, it would get like 36 and 35.
Yeah, if only. If only.
But yeah,
it
60s?
It has a 67% from critics, a 60% from audiences. So the audience score is lower, which made me feel a little bit better about us hating it as much as we did. However, apparently, I found this so funny. It is, or was at least, the favorite movie of one famous dictator, Kim Jong-il. He's cited this in print as one of the best movies ever made. So...
No, I feel like that man shouldn't watch film, you know? And the fact that he watched this and
was like, this is great.
And makes a statement about it.
Yeah.
I would be
feel like
horrified.
Yeah.
I would be horrified.
If your company in loving a film as Kim Jong-il...
You got problems.
That tells you something. That's... Just like, I love when we find like,
That's
oh, this
so
director loves this film. Oh, David Lynch
random.
hated Alien.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-il
That's a
says
name I
this is his
never
favorite
thought
movie.
we would mention on this podcast. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
And Sean's like, great review.
Great.
From
Yeah. So obviously this spawns a franchise, basically all
Yeah.
of the subsequent installments of which are made for much more money than the original
Sure.
and center Jason as the villain. As we said, there are 12 subsequent installments. The hockey mask doesn't actually appear until the third, which I was expecting
Wild.
to see in here, but yeah, interesting.
I know, same. I had a false
Yeah,
perception of this film.
I kept looking in the backgrounds of buildings looking for a hockey mask, and it wasn't there. There's a novelization, there are comics, there are games, both video and mobile, and in 2022, a prequel series, Crystal Lake, was announced to be produced by Hannibal's Brian Fuller and A24 and stream on Peacock, weird choice, but okay, with Kevin Williamson writing at least one episode.
Oh.
However, this show has had some bad luck. This show seems to be cursed. They fired Brian Fuller, which I don't understand why you'd do that. Said that it was creative differences. They replace him with Brad Caleb Kane, who did It, Welcome to Derry. They lose Williamson. The writer's strike delays production, but it is actually happening because
Really?
Linda Cardellini is Mrs. Voorhees. Which that I'm interested in. That sounds good. And it's
wrapping it back to Freaks and Geeks.
It's all coming full circle. And that to me feels like it sounds like the idea is following Mrs. Voorhees probably before Jason's born is the sense that I get, which that I'm really interested in. That sounds good to
Finally,
me.
she's getting her time.
She's getting her due.
I don't know if she gets her time. Well, she gets her head chopped off, so.
True.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking the others, I don't know, maybe they cryogenically bring her back. I don't
now
fucking
that
know.
I would be interested in. It works within the
Fuse
rules
her
of this
together, yeah.
narrative.
She's just a head on a
Head on a stick. There
Put it
you
a good
go.
way.
See, head on a stick. So I tried to find out, like, when is this coming to screens? When can we watch this? It was supposed to originally premiere Halloween this year, but principal photography didn't start until late June, so there's no way that's happening.
Oh, whoa.
That's
So they're
not
actually
going to happen. So they are.
doing it.
I think they're probably currently shooting as we're recording this.
Cool.
My money would be on summer 2026.
Yeah,
I feel like you're going to do a
probably.
summer release for something like that, and there's no way it's going to be ready in 25.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sean Cunningham last year said that a new movie probably couldn't happen for at least 3 years, insinuating a lack of funds. In reality, it sounds like the rights are super complicated, as is often the case with these kinds of giant franchises. But interesting that Sean Cunningham is still out on the circle talking about wanting to make more.
This guy has.
Pretty much, yeah. And I will say also, this is one of those films that I expected to come in and do a film theory rant corner, and then I was like, it doesn't deserve it. Like, this doesn't deserve the analysis.
The whole thing was a
just
very rant.
yeah.
There just wasn't. I don't know, man. There wasn't a lot of meat.
There's not a lot of meat there.
And I don't mind that.
Normally I don't, but I was
know,
expecting
sometimes.
more from this, and I think part of it is, this is one Carol Clover talks a lot about in Men, Women, and Chainsaws, as this film gets critiqued a lot for being like the start of like this specific brand of misogynist horror that's like so much worse on the women than the men, and it's all about like punishing the people who have sex. And like, honestly, it felt less like a one-to-one, this person has sex, this person dies, than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be more moralistic.
Like that. Yeah.
It feels like, particularly given how brutally honest the creators were about what they were and weren't trying to do with this film, I kind of believe them when they've gone on record saying, like, we weren't trying to make a moral commentary as much as we just wanted there to be lots of sex and violence. And they just happened
from the
to.
porn industry too, so he was like, "This is like sexy slasher movie."
I don't think it was so much like everybody who has sex is bad and therefore dies, as much as it was like everybody dies and we want there to be a lot of sex. Therefore,
I'm with you on that for sure.
So like, I don't find the film theory about it being like regressive and anti-feminist particularly compelling. I just don't think this film has a heart. Like,
it's just very flatlined.
It's very flat, and
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to start a franchise that's gone on, I'm like, again, I'm really curious to see what the two of us might be missing.
Yeah, me too.
About it, because I'm like, to kick off what we did, like, I don't get where everyone was like, this is great.
Yeah. Well, and so like the one little film theory crumb that I brought in for us as like a little, I don't know.
The tiny desk.
The tiny desk. The film theory tiny desk that I brought in was that this writer, Devin Faraci, has suggested that the reason that this film, out of all of the 80s slashers, 70s, 80s slashers, because I think TCM very much counts in this category.
Yeah, for sure.
But out of all of, like, you know, your Halloween, your Texas Chainsaw Massacre, your Nightmare on Elm Street, that the reason that Jason is the one who's gotten the most sequels and that it has spawned such a successful franchise is specifically because the first one is not that good.
Oh.
And he thinks that the reason that it's been able to produce so many sequels is because, like,
right.
whereas Halloween and Texas Chainsaw are, like, geniuses out the bat.
Yeah.
There's like room for the narrative to get better from the first
So they
one.
are just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, which like is honestly, I found that a really helpful like lens to use.
Yeah,
like,
I'm wondering if that's what I was wondering. Because like, this was so bad, or are they just like off the rails on purpose? Because they're like, oh, this was so bad, we're gonna make this also really bad.
Right.
And, like, again, takes Manhattan.
I'm just picturing him like shopping on Fifth Avenue, like a
like
little bag hanging off each arm.
We need like a Muppets Take Manhattan or in Manhattan like crossover with that.
Oh my god, where Jason's the only one who's
the only human.
Oh my god, I'm picturing like green Muppet blood everywhere.
I know, imagine their little, or it's like feathers or something like that.
Stuffing.
Stuffing, thank you. That I would watch.
At one point, somebody's actual finger gets chopped off underneath it. That's the only
and then
real
a
blood
documentary
you see in
comes
the
out,
movie.
The Real Horse.
Yeah, the like Hearts of Darkness for
yes.
Muppet Jason Takes Manhattan.
Siena, we have ideas.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, so I don't know. I'd have to watch the sequels to understand more, but it does kind of feel like I can understand that argument that if you really want to spawn a franchise, the first one can't be that good. Otherwise, the first one's always going to be the best. Which, like, that's why Texas Chainsaw only got, I want to say, like 3 or 4 sequels, because the first is perfect.
Yeah.
Halloween, there's sequels, but, like, the first is perfect.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
The first is perfect.
I know
the first is perfect.
But yeah, there's a lot of that. So
yeah, and so I think it's kind of like
I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, if you want it to last long, the first one's got to be kind of shitty.
Just make 12 really bad ones.
Yeah, there you go. Follow the
Can
formula. We have it for
Linda
you.
Cardellini one.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. Oh God, if only.
Imagine we're just like old and it's like
it's still going. It's going to be
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 60th.
Yeah.
Just keeps going.
100th anniversary.
Oh, I don't want to live on this planet
Jason
anymore.
still lives.
Jason's still in space.
Jason's stuck in space.
Jason 27, even spacier.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah, so that's what we've got. That's the most fun I could bring to this movie.
I know, I hate to be like a hater. Listen, not for me, not for us.
I hope that if you are a fan and you listened to this, you're at least able to enjoy some of the behind-the-scenes stories, some of the Lou Reed of it all, some of the anti-Semitic beavers. I don't know. Like there's some fun BTS stuff.
It's hard again when the director just doesn't have the vision.
Yeah.
It's hard to like get behind that, even with the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's like
it just feels
so
hollow.
Yeah.
It just feels hollow. Which Yeah.
Anyways,
I think we're gonna have a very different experience with our next 2 films, though. Thank goodness.
I'm really excited.
I think it's gonna be a fun pairing.
So this is a fun pairing, kind of brought on to us through the Jean Cocteau Cinema and a collab we're doing with the Bug and Reptile Museum in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So we're partnering with them to put on a screening of what Siena's going to be covering, which I keep forgetting the name.
Phenomena.
Yes.
Yeah.
85.
Also known as Creepers, I believe, is the other title.
Yeah,
I think that's
Creepers.
The other one.
Yeah.
That's the alt. But it's the Dario Argento one starring Jennifer Connelly. That's the film we're talking about.
Yeah, so I think I wrote it down somewhere. I think August 10th at the cinema we'll be playing that film. I think they're going to bring some creepy crawlies there. For us, we're hoping to do it behind the screams if you're down to play with bugs.
Down. I love a bug.
So yeah, tickets, we'll see when they go, but like JeanCocteauCinema.com, tickets either are up or gonna be coming up. But so we're doing a bug pairing. So fucking excited to finally talk about this. I've like talked about it briefly on the pod when I did like a music comparison.
Yeah, it's made appearances before.
Arachnophobia. 1990, so our films are 5 years apart, wildly different, I think.
Different worlds, for sure.
I am so fucking excited because you had looked at the cast list for a second. You were like, oh my god, all these, and I'm like, it's great. It's a perfect
I had no
movie.
idea how stacked the cast was. I think it's gonna be a fun one.
I'm excited. So
creepy crawly creature horror.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some bugs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be a good pairing.
That'll be fun.
And then the one after that is our 50th. So again, give us ideas, people. We need them,
please. Don't be quiet. Give us things.
Yeah,
tell us. We can't decide.
There are no bad ideas.
There really aren't.
Yeah, you didn't see it, but I just winked at the camera.
Did you wink?
Yeah.
I don't think there are because I can't think of shit. I mean, the bad ideas would be cover more Friday the 13th. Don't suggest that.
Please don't make me do that. Please
that
never make
won't
me
happen.
This franchise. I hate it, you guys.
I can't do that
so much.
I know. We knew this was going to be this episode. So next one will be lighter.
I've got to be honest. I was dreading recording today because I was like, I know this is so popular. How am I going to bring enough how am I going to muster the energy and enthusiasm that this deserves?
Well, I'm pissed about the snake, so I don't know.
Me too.
I really stopped liking it at that moment.
Yep.
But
yeah.
So that's
what
it.
we got.
I think that's all we have to talk about.
Yeah. Buy Morgan Crypt tickets if you're in the general Southwest vicinity and want to come see us.
We're supposed to do a mini live show, which I feel sick to my stomach thinking about.
We need to do it.
Rehearsals?
We need to do a live show beforehand. Yeah.
So keep ears and eyes out for that. We'll probably have to do that at the theater at some point. So, oh god, guys, I don't want to do it. I like our little comfy seats behind our little mics.
That's what we do for our 5th.
Gross. Not ready. Okay, moving on.
I think that's clearly the answer, right, guys? That we have to do the live show for our 50th.
Don't thumbs up, everybody.
So we've still got to decide what the films are. But I think
we might have to do a shared film.
Yeah.
I think you might have to save me. I think it'll be a lot of Siena talking to me like,
Oh, perfect. I love that.
You're good in front of audiences.
But yeah, I think that
maybe
let's figure out something. Yeah. Some sort of a live component at least.
We do giveaways, something like that.
Yeah.
I
was like, anything but a live show.
But a live show sounds wonderful to me. On that note, thanks, Warren. Actually, you know
good
what?
to see your
fuck
face.
the two of you for putting your hands up. So fuck Warren,
Thank
fuck
you
Trump.
both. So
Theo, you're the only safe
one.
You didn't put your thumbs up, so I'm
That's
not gonna.
true. Yeah. Thanks for having
Havoc.
Yeah.
I love that we're keeping that going.
Thanks Theo Schaefer for playing us out.
Yeah.
And thank you all for listening to Splice Splatter, the film podcast presented by the Jean Cocteau Cinema in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where classic horror
meets modern gore.
And soon modern bugs.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. Okay, we're gonna
get out of here real quick.
Be right back.